Chapter 1458. That was a bear demon. His sharp claws were pulled out from the other party's heart, drenched in blood. Then, he transformed back into a human hand. He placed his fingers at the corner of his mouth and licked them. His demonic eyes stared at the young lady and said, "How do you want to die?" "Elder brother." The young girl hugged the corpse of the young man as tears flowed down her face. The humans in the surroundings retreated far away, silently shaking their heads and sighing when they saw this. Rumble. That black hand transformed back into a bear claw and slashed out towards the young girl. But at this moment, a beam of sword light suddenly descended from the sky. With a light-piercing sound, a scream of misery rang out. The bear demon's claw was directly severed as fresh blood flowed unceasingly. His body trembled, he turned his gaze over and stared at Qin Wentian, who was walking towards him step by step. "You severed my palm." That bear demon howled and reverted back to his original form, becoming incomparably gigantic. Qin Wentian lifted his hand and slashed out with his sword. The light was incomparably dazzling, akin to a beam of divine light that cleaved down from the sky. In just an instant, the gigantic bear demon was directly slain as he collapsed onto the ground. From the start to the end, Qin Wentian didn't say a single word. Roar! A thunderous roar shook the sky. Rumbling sounds echoed out as many gazes turned towards Qin Wentian. These gazes were incomparably demonic, and in an instant, a violent demonic wind manifested in this space, causing everyone to feel a chill in their hearts. "Are you courting death?" A cold voice rang out. Many demonic beasts actually walked out from the crowd. They were all in human form, mingling together with the humans. Seems like the greater demons of the desolate mountains have already completely infiltrated the immortal realms. Qin Wentian silently mused. He glanced at the humans in the surroundings as he spoke. "These beasts all know how to be more united than you guys." The expressions of everyone turned unsightly. Was he saying that they were inferior to beasts? Boom! A gigantic demonic beast palm imprint slammed towards Qin Wentian. It was actually a greater demon of the immortal king realm. Its aura was so shocking that it wanted to crush the sky, causing the sky to change color. Qin Wentian inclined his head and coldly glanced in that direction. He directly took out the ancient sword on his back and slashed out with it. In an instant, a sword manifested, slashing horizontally across the sky, slashing down, destroying the palm imprint and the immortal king, who was angered. It was incomparably domineering. Immortal king expert, this man is actually a powerful immortal king character. The expressions of everyone stiffened as they stared at Qin Wentian, feeling fear in their hearts. Since the demonic beasts of the desolate land have mingled with the humans, they should abide by the rules of the humans. If they wantonly slaughter humans, then the humans will return the favor. Qin Wentian said in a domineering manner. He stepped out, intimidating all the demonic beasts. None of the demonic beasts dared to step forward. However, they didn't leave either. They just stared coldly at Qin Wentian, their eyes flashing with a wild light. The desolate royal tribe has descended to the gazing emperor city. There's actually a human who dares to incite the crowd to deal with us demonic beasts. Don't tell me they don't deserve to be killed. A demonic voice rang out in the air. Everyone inclined their heads, only to see a group of figures walking over. This group of people exuded extraordinary auras, and the person in the lead was clad in white robes. His eyes gleamed with a jade-green light, exuding a sinister coldness. In that case, he kills humans while I kill demonic beasts. Do I deserve to die? Qin Wentian inclined his head, staring at the figures descending from the sky. That white-robed figure had a sinister smile on his face. After that, he spoke, "Yes, but you deserve to die as well." "Is that so?" Qin Wentian stepped out. "If you know your mistake and are willing to kneel and beg for mercy, becoming my slave, I can show you mercy and spare your life." The eyes of the white-robed figure were cold. Under his gaze, Qin Wentian actually felt extremely uncomfortable as he felt his head spinning. Rumble. Qin Wentian soared up into the air, instantly appearing even higher than the white-robed figure. He stared at the incoming group of demonic beasts as he coldly spoke, "A bunch of vile beasts actually wants me to be your slave. If I agree, would you all dare to accept me?" As the sound of Qin Wentian's voice faded, a fearsome destructive wind manifested. A terrifying black-colored sword intent directly pierced through the air, arriving before the group of demonic beasts. The countenances of those demonic beasts changed as they tried to resist. However, they only saw Qin Wentian brandishing his sword and slashing out with it. A piercing sound rang out as a demonic immortal king was directly slain. "How dare you!" That demonic beast in the lead could sense how extraordinary Qin Wentian was. His expression changed. "I'm from a demon race under the Heavenhold race of the Desolate Mountains. We entered Gazing Emperor City together with the Heavenhold race, yet you dare to act against us? Slay!" Qin Wentian spat out a single word. His sword intent gushed forth as a terrifying sword river manifested, wanting to annihilate everything. That immortal king who spoke earlier was directly slashed into two. His eyes widened in disbelief even at the moment of his death. Qin Wentian coldly glanced at the other greater demons, not concealing his killing intent at all. The experts of the Heavenhold race and many supreme geniuses of the Desolate Mountains are currently in the ancient Emperor Palace of Gazing Emperor City. "How dare you slaughter the demonic beasts of the Desolate Mountains so brazenly? Aren't you afraid of being slaughtered?" One of them roared when he sensed Qin Wentian's killing intent. However, Qin Wentian didn't care at all. Sword light radiated forth as his sword intent permeated the air. Very swiftly, the group of demonic beasts were all slaughtered. The hearts of everyone trembled as they stared at Qin Wentian. They didn't know which character came to Gazing Emperor City and was actually so domineering. Even the royal clan of the Desolate Mountains couldn't do anything to him. He killed the subordinates of the royal clan of the Desolate Mountains mercilessly without mercy. "All demonic beasts, scram for me!" Qin Wentian stood in the air and roared. A moment later, the eyes of the demonic beasts flashed with coldness, but they all sped away. Qin Wentian glanced at the young girl on the ground. She was still sobbing in front of her brother's corpse. At this moment, she inclined her head and stared at him. "Thank you, Senior, for your help." Qin Wentian sighed. After that, an ordinary strand of immortal sense shot out from his body and landed on the young girl. This strand of immortal sense isn't a protective strand of immortal sense. It will automatically vanish, but it can still protect you for some time. Bury your brother well and leave this place of trouble. I have no way to repay Senior's great kindness. The young girl was about to bow when Qin Wentian used his energy to lift her up. With a single step, he departed this place. He wasn't a sage, he could only help her to this point. Gazing Emperor City, the ancient Emperor Palace. Experts were as common as the clouds, and it was unknown how many experts would come here every day. Before the central palace of the ancient Emperor Palace, there was an ancient battle platform that exuded a solemn aura. There were armored puppets guarding the area, but these puppets seemed to have been sealed away, as though they hadn't been used for a very long time. The central palace floated in the air, separated into 8 directions. There were thrones of emperors, and those who sat on them would be able to see everything happening on the battle platform. When Qin Wentian arrived here, there were already many experts gathered here. However, these people were all standing on the ground, staring up at the experts in the air. Those who sat on the thrones in the central palace were the true peak geniuses of the Desolate Mountains and the Immortal Realms, possessing immense authority. The ancient Emperor Palace is truly extraordinary. Qin Wentian silently mused. The entire central palace seemed to be lifted up by a formation, floating in the air. Those who sat on the spectator stands could easily see what was happening on the battle platform. Not only so, those people from the central palace seemed to be enjoying themselves very much. Immortal banquets were laid out before them, and there were even some powerful characters with beauties beside them. What was even more bizarre was that above the battle platform floating in the middle of the palace, there was actually a dazzling light radiating from it, enveloping the entire platform. There was a pair of terrifying eyes in the air, akin to the eyes of the heavens, incomparably wondrous. These eyes were the legendary emperor's eyes. It was rumored that they were created by the ancient emperors. "Sir, what is happening here?" Qin Wendian asked a person beside him. "Don't you know? The supreme greater demons of the desolate mountains and the peak powers of the immortal realms are all preparing to enter the city of ancient emperors. Before this, they are all gathered in the central palace, observing the people who came to the gazing emperor's city to take the test of the emperor's eyes. There are humans and demons, and they want to see if the demonic races of the desolate mountains are stronger or the human wuxiu is stronger. Occasionally, there would be experts from the demonic races and peak powers of the desolate mountains fighting on the battle platforms, setting up bets and discussing the Tao. This has already been going on for many days." The person beside him replied. Qin Wendian inclined his head and stared at the 8 floating palaces. Among them, 4 were where the demonic beasts of the desolate mountains gathered, while the other 4 were where the peak powers of the human wuxiu resided. His gaze was somewhat cold. Because, Qin Wendian could see that the maidens serving the demonic beasts were all extremely beautiful and had extraordinary cultivation bases. Clearly, they were forced to serve the demonic beasts. Shinga. At this moment, Qin Wendian's eyes flashed with sharpness. He actually saw a familiar silhouette beside a young greater demon. It was none other than Nanfeng Shinga of the Namhuang clan. She was actually captured by a greater demon and was serving him by the side, serving him tea. Nanfeng Shinga's watery eyes flashed with sorrow, as though she had no way to resist. If she resisted, the consequences would be extremely dire. These demons of the desolate mountains were capable of anything. How about another round? At this moment, a greater demon from the desolate mountains spoke, staring at the experts from the peak powers. "I'll accompany you." Experts from both sides were preparing to step out. However, at this moment, whistling sounds rang out in the air. In an instant, the temperature of this space suddenly rose. A group of celestial maidens stepped out, bringing with them flames of anger as they descended. The maiden in the lead exuded an unparalleled magnificence. Her long hair fluttered in the wind like a waterfall, and her eyes were like limpid autumn waters. Although there was anger in them, they were still breathtakingly beautiful, causing people to involuntarily sigh in admiration. What a beauty! Also, this celestial maiden had a phoenix crown on her head, exuding an aura of nobility. "Release her." That celestial maiden stared in the direction of Nanfeng Shinga as she coldly spoke. This maiden was none other than the holy successor of the Namhuang clan, Namhuang Yunshi. Not long ago, she had already broken through to the immortal king realm and had extraordinary accomplishments, causing a huge commotion in the Namhuang clan. The phoenix ancestor even baptized her. When the desolate mountains invaded, Namhuang Yunshi came out to temper herself and thought of the city of ancient emperors. However, she didn't expect to encounter a tyrannical demonic beast that forcefully abducted Nanfeng Shinga. The demonic young man beside Nanfeng Shinga lifted his wine cup and took a sip, ignoring the anger of the holy successor of the Namhuang clan. His demonic eyes surveyed Namhuang Yunshi as a demonic smile appeared on his face. "If it wasn't for the fact that you are the holy successor of the Namhuang clan, I would have abducted you as a slave to serve me. Who would have thought that you wouldn't know what's good for you and came looking for me again? Do you really think I wouldn't dare to do so?" The experts here all felt their hearts trembling. The demons of the desolate mountains were truly bold, actually wanting to abduct the holy successor of the Namhuang clan as a slave. Simply arrogant to the extreme. Chapter 1459. Namhuang Yunshi's countenance was ice cold. "It's fine if your desolate mountain range invades as demonic beasts, but to think that you are so tyrannical, seizing people as you wish. Aren't you afraid of incurring the wrath of the immortal realms?" "The wrath of the immortal realms?" That demonic young man laughed mockingly. "My desolate mountain range entering the immortal realms is an irresistible trend, it's because of our strength. Could it be that you think it's because of the benevolence and courtesy of the immortal realms? You humans have your own rules, but my desolate mountain range has mine. In my desolate mountain range, the strong are the kings. All demonic beasts have to bow their heads and serve me. It's the same in your immortal realms as well. Being able to serve me is her glory. Naturally, if the holy successor of the Nam Huang clan can become my serving girl, that would be even better. Ha, I heard that the people of the Nam Huang clan have the bloodline of a true phoenix. If you capture her to warm your bed and give birth to more descendants, there's a high possibility that she might become a royal greater demon. Why don't you give it a try? A demonic beast in another floating palace laughed. The Nam Huang clan is a peak power of the southern regions, noble and holy. Do you all dare? A voice rang out. Everyone turned to the person who spoke. It was none other than the human Wuxiu, an immortal king from the Ying clan. When he spoke, there was no anger on his face, he had a smile on his face, as though he was intentionally trying to provoke the demonic beasts. This fellow is intentionally trying to sow discord. Someone spoke. At this moment, he still wants to incite conflict between the Nam Huang clan and the Nam Huang clan. As peak powers of the southern regions, the Ying clan and the Nam Huang clan have always been at odds. You don't dare. That demonic beast king coldly laughed. He stared at Nam Huang Yunshi. Nam Huang Yunshi, I'll give you a chance. I'll send an expert from my clan to take the test together with you. If you persist for a long time, I will release your subordinates. If you persist for a short time, you have to serve me. How about it? No. Nan Fengshinga stared at Nam Huang Yunshi and shook her head. These demons were all from the royal bloodline and were all extremely powerful. Any one of them was extremely terrifying. Nan Fengshinga was worried that Nam Huang Yunshi would fail. Of course, if you don't dare to do it yourself, you can send someone else. As long as both sides agree on the same cultivation level, it will be fine. Don't you guys like to be fair? I'll do it myself, Nam Huang Yunshi said coldly. I'll do it for you. A voice drifted over. From the crowd, a young man with delicate features walked out. He looked extremely young, yet he radiated the might of an immortal king, exuding an extraordinary aura. When Nam Huang Yunshi saw who it was, she was surprised and said, Jun Mengchen. She turned her gaze in the direction behind Jun Mengchen, wanting to see if that person was together with Jun Mengchen. After all, they were from the same sect and had an extremely good relationship. However, she didn't see that silhouette. Nam Huang Yunshi, I'm here to do battle for you. I'll slay a vile beast for you to vent your anger. Jun Mengchen walked to the side of Nam Huang Yunshi as he spoke. His cultivation base was also at the initial stage of the immortal king realm, but his aura was majestic. He should be at the late phase of the initial stage. Courting death. Some of the royal bloodline demons coldly spoke with disdain. Nam Huang Yunshi glanced at Jun Mengchen and nodded, sure. She believed in Jun Mengchen's strength and talent. Back then, he was already extremely dazzling. It was just that because he was by the side of that person, his radiance was overshadowed. However, Nam Huang Yunshi had fought alongside Jun Mengchen many times and naturally knew how extraordinary Jun Mengchen was. Stepping out, Jun Mengchen walked towards the battle platform. He stared at the demonic kings as he spoke, scram out here. Several demonic beasts stepped out. The middle-aged man turned his gaze to one of them, let the Kuei race fight. Right. The demonic kings nodded. One of the demonic beasts stepped out and landed on the battle platform. A moment later, a thunderous boom rang out, causing the entire space to tremble. The body of this demonic beast shone with a resplendent light as thunder rumbled from his body. His breathing was heavy, akin to the rumbling of thunder. His steps were extremely heavy, causing Jun Mengchen's body to tremble. His true form was the Saint Beast Kuei, a greater demon of the royal bloodline. In the past, my senior brother roasted white tiger meat. Today, I shall see if there's any chance for me to roast Kuei beef. Jun Mengchen stepped out, entering the region of the Emperor's Eye. That Kuei also stepped in. In an instant, the Emperor's Eye in the air radiated a boundlessly resplendent light, directly enveloping the entire space. Beams of terrifying light shot towards the Kuei and Jun Mengchen. Tens of thousands of runic light converged into a terrifying destructive attack that directly smashed down, blasting towards the Kuei and Jun Mengchen. The Kuei roared, terrifying lightning energy appeared around him, protecting him. Jun Mengchen was enveloped by a screen of light. That screen of light was incomparably dazzling. Jun Mengchen stood there, allowing the power of the Emperor's eye to crazily attack him, cleansing his body. He stood there unmoving, like a dazzling emperor descending from the heavens. The Emperor's eye manifested boundless energy, becoming even more terrifying. The heavens and earth changed, transforming into a world of stars. Meteors fell from the sky, containing boundless energy that could directly destroy people. It was unknown just how violent the might of the meteors was. Kuei reverted to his true form. He had a single horn on his head and let out a thunderous roar. Resplendent bolts of thunder and lightning blasted out, blasting the meteors into smithereens, destroying them. Behind Jun Mengchen, a picture scroll appeared. Within it, numerous silver spears could be seen congregating together and shooting towards the sky. They were like divine might descending into the world, wanting to shatter everything, causing the meteors in the air to explode. This Emperor's eye can actually transform unceasingly, causing its attacks to grow stronger and stronger. Qin Wendian felt some shock in his heart. Being able to see Nam Huang Yunxi and Jun Mengchen here, he was extremely surprised. Also, the two of them have already broken through to the Immortal King realm. This brat Jun Mengchen's strength grew much stronger as well. Clearly, he didn't waste his time during these years. Boom! Kuei stepped out and let out a heaven-shaking roar at Jun Mengchen. The roar shook the heavens and earth, manifesting lightning and thunder. The originally violent space transformed into a lightning domain that gushed towards Jun Mengchen, wanting to kill Jun Mengchen on the spot. The talent of these greater demons is truly powerful. The might of a single roar is so tyrannical. The hearts of everyone trembled. Jun Mengchen similarly roared. In an instant, countless silver spears shot out from the picture scroll, wanting to destroy the heavens and earth, shattering the lightning region. The picture scroll flew out and floated in the air. Instantly, a supreme might gushed forth, transforming into a domain that engulfed this entire space. The crowd suddenly had a feeling that Kuei was trapped within Jun Mengchen's domain. The eyes of many powerful immortal kings gleamed with sharpness when they saw this scene. This was the legendary power. Kill! Jun Mengchen roared. Countless silver spears manifested from the picture scroll, shooting towards Kuei. Kuei howled in rage as lightning crackled forth. However, there were simply too many silver spears, there was no end to them. The Kuei howled in rage and struggled, unleashing all sorts of attacks, wanting to break free from this domain. However, he discovered that the entire space was engulfed by the spears and he had no way to escape. Finally, the Kuei's body was pierced through and he died miserably on the spot. I will keep this Kuei with me. If there's a chance in the future, I will roast it and eat it. It would definitely be a great tonic. Jun Mengchen spoke. The picture scroll dissipated and the Kuei actually vanished along with it. The eyes of many experts gleamed with sharpness. As expected of the Great Era, experts would appear in large numbers. Even such a heaven-shaking physique would appear. Impudent. The demonic young man sitting on the throne in the floating palace coldly spoke. You are the impudent one. Can't you afford to lose? Isn't it about time to release him? Jun Mengchen inclined his head as he spoke. Ha, you demons are too weak. The test of the Emperor's eye has just begun and you are already killed. An expert from a peak power laughed uproariously. You guys better obediently release him. The Nam Huang clan isn't someone you can afford to antagonize. An expert from the Ying clan coldly spoke. Oh. A demonic look appeared on the face of that demonic young man. He grabbed Nanfeng Xinga and laughed evilly. If you're willing to bet, you must be willing to lose. I will release him right now. As he spoke, he tossed Nanfeng Xinga forward. After that, he stabbed out with his finger, causing Nanfeng Xinga to cough out blood in the air. Her vitality instantly withered. Shinga. Nam Huang Yunshi was greatly shocked. Her silhouette flashed as she caught Nanfeng Shinga. She took out a medicinal pill and fed it to Nanfeng Shinga while protecting her heart meridians. Circulate your immortal energy. Nanfeng Shinga nodded. The two of them were bathed in phoenix flames as though they were undergoing nirvanic rebirth. The people from the Namhuang clan coldly stared at that demonic young man before turning to the experts from the Ying clan. This person has been intentionally provoking the demon kings to act against the Namhuang clan. He was simply despicable to the extreme. Shameless. Jun Mengchen's rage towered up into the sky. I only promised to release her. I've already done it. That demonic young man coldly spoke. Do you still dare to continue? Why wouldn't I dare? Jun Mengchen icily replied. Fine then. The eyes of the demon kings were ice cold, flashing with killing intent. As for those from the peak powers of the human race, they all had the attitude of watching a good show. The experts from the Ying clan laughed. A heaven chosen has appeared in our human race. He would definitely be able to sweep through the demon race and slaughter them all. Emichim, this young man's talent isn't bad. He will slaughter the demons in our human race's stead. A peak stage immortal king from the Sanluo Immortal Empire spoke. You guys are unwilling to give up after losing. Since you guys want to play, I will play with you guys. A voice rang out as several experts stepped out. Qin Wendian glanced at the person in the lead. This person was none other than one of the immortal kings who participated in the war between the Dongshengshan Gate and the immortal Qianbian Gate back then. His name was Tuoba Saint Sky and his strength was extraordinary. Jun Mengchen came here together with several experts from the Heavenly Talisman realm. Count me in. Qin Wendian stepped out. Tuoba Saint Sky, Jun Mengchen, and the others all stared at Qin Wendian as their eyes gleamed. They could sense that Qin Wendian was a disciple of their Heavenly Talisman realm. However, they have never seen Qin Wendian before. Naturally, the Heavenly Talisman realm was extremely vast and experts were as common as the clouds. It was normal for them to not have seen some people before. Tuoba Saint Sky nodded to Qin Wendian as he spoke in a low voice. Sure, how should I address you? Saber Sword Immortal King. Qin Wendian calmly replied. There was a saber and a sword strapped to his back. This name was indeed more suitable. Not bad. Everyone here are geniuses of our immortal realms. It's just nice to suppress the arrogance of the demon race. The expert from the Ying clan laughed, as though he was commanding from a higher position. Qin Wendian inclined his head, staring at the expert from the Ying clan as he emotionlessly spoke, Scram down. You guys have no qualifications to sit in that place. Chapter 1460. Qin Wendian's voice was like thunder, ringing out in the ears of everyone. In an instant, the gazes of everyone turned to Qin Wendian. This immortal king was actually so audacious, telling the people of the Ying clan to scram down the moment he appeared. The eyes of the experts from the Ying clan narrowed. That peak stage immortal king sitting in the center stared at Qin Wendian as immortal light radiated from him. He then calmly spoke, Do you know who you are talking to? The demons of the desolate mountains are fighting against the humans of the immortal realms. What have you guys done? Instigating the demons to act ruthlessly against the Namhuang clan. Do you think everyone here is a fool? Qin Wendian inclined his head and stared at the immortal king in the air. Your Ying clan has a grudge with the Namhuang clan, you should settle it later. Using such underhanded methods now is simply a humiliation to the human race. Well said. Jun Mengchen spoke. He walked out of the Emperor's Eye region and inclined his head, staring at the experts from the Ying clan. Despicable people like you all, what qualifications do you have to sit here and point your fingers? Acting like you are the representatives of the human race, Wu Xiu. How disgusting. The Saber-Sword Immortal King's words are right. You guys should scram down, you guys don't have the qualifications to sit here. The expressions of the experts from the Ying clan grew even more unsightly. They didn't expect that there would actually be people who dared to target them. They were able to sit here because the experts from the Ying clan were extremely powerful, including an extremely terrifying character from the Ying clan, Ying Zhantian. Ying Zhantian was a peak-stage immortal king. He sat in the center, his eyes gleaming with the intent of an emperor. Even though he was humiliated by Qin Wendian and Jun Mengchen, he was still as calm as ever. He merely stared at Qin Wendian and Jun Mengchen as he spoke. It's very simple if you want us to get down. Show us your strength. 3 rounds. Early stage immortal kings, mid-stage immortal kings and peak-stage immortal kings. The rules are the same as before. If you guys lose, scram down. Qin Wendian calmly spoke. That's right. Before we deal with these evil creatures, let's get rid of some of the scum among the humans first. If you still have the pride of being a top force, then accept the challenge. Jun Mengchen arrogantly spoke. In an instant, the aura of an immortal king from the Ying clan gushed forth, causing those with weaker cultivation bases to feel stifled. If you guys don't even have the courage to accept the challenge, you guys would be a disgrace by just sitting there. An immortal king from the Namhuang clan coldly spoke. No one had expected that the battle would suddenly turn into a civil war. The greater demons of the desolate mountains hadn't expected this either. This time, it was their turn to watch the show. Both parties wanted to see what level of strength the other party had reached, how talented the humans of the immortal realms were, and how talented the greater demons of the desolate mountains were. Right now, there seemed to be some extraordinary experts among the humans who wanted to challenge the position of the Ying clan, wanting to push them down from their thrones. Alright. Ying Zhantian calmly spoke. His name was Ying Zhantian, and the homonym of his name was Ying Zhantian. From this, one could see how high the expectations placed on him were. How could he not accept a mere provocation from the heavens and earth? For the first battle, I will fight. Which of you want to fight me? Jun Mengchen pointed his finger at the air as he spoke. An Empyrean from the Ying clan stepped out, causing the roars of dragons to echo out, shaking the heavens and earth. Jun Mengchen's silhouette flashed as he entered the battle platform of the Emperor's Eye. That expert from the Ying clan stepped out, and with every step he took, the might he exuded grew stronger. Dragon roars rang out from his body, causing his bones and muscles to feel as though they were forged from a true dragon. His body of a divine dragon was unshakable. After he entered the region of the Emperor's Eye, he lifted his hand and grabbed towards Jun Mengchen. His hand was like the sharp claw of a heavenly dragon, boundlessly vast, capable of tearing apart the sky. A mere minor Dao, how embarrassing. Jun Mengchen punched out with his fist, exuding a terrifying might that caused the heavens and earth to tremble. With a thunderous boom, the sharp claw of the heavenly dragon was shattered. That expert from the Ying clan condensed a series of hand seals. Runic light flashed as a true dragon manifested to protect him. Numerous terrifying true dragon shadows appeared around him as the dragon imprints in front of him flashed and blasted out. The dragon imprints transformed into true dragons, capable of annihilating everything as they instantly appeared before Jun Mengchen. So weak? Jun Mengchen roared. His body resembled the body of a divine emperor, shining with a resplendent light as divine energy enveloped him. He was undying and indestructible. No matter how the true dragon tore at him, the light around him protected him from destruction. This was simply shocking. What physique is this? Someone exclaimed. The countenances of those from the Ying clan were all extremely unsightly to behold. Ying Zhantian was extremely calm. Given Jun Mengchen's physique, it was normal for him to be defeated. It was already sufficient for him to win the next mid-stage Immortal King battle. As for the third battle, if he fought, who would be able to contend against him? And as expected, the outcome of the battle was as expected. Jun Mengchen domineeringly defeated his opponent. If it wasn't for that expert from the Ying clan using his divine weapon to flee, he would have been killed on the spot. That expert then left the battle platform in an extremely embarrassed manner. Trash, you can't even withstand a single strike and you still dare to act so high and mighty? If I was you, I would have scrammed down from the platform myself. Jun Mengchen walked out of the platform and spoke with his head held high. Ying Zhantian's expression was cold, gleaming with sharpness. The Grand Era was truly different. Back then in the Tiandao Sacred Academy, there were already many outstanding geniuses. Now, with the invasion of the desolate mountains, the royal demonic beasts were terrifying to the extreme. And now, any random person from the Ying clan had a heaven-shaking physique. Seems like the rumors circulating in the Ying clan weren't groundless. The immortal realms were in chaos, the golden era was about to descend. The battle hasn't ended yet. If you guys lose the next 2 battles, I want to see how arrogant you can be. An immortal king sitting on a throne in the floating palace arrogantly spoke. He was a mid-stage immortal king and stood up, preparing for the next battle. You guys, who will fight the second battle? He stood high up in the air, staring down at everyone with an unexcelled attitude. Me. Qin Wentian inclined his head as 2 bolts of lightning shot out from his eyes. Since you dare to challenge the immortal kings of my Ying clan, I will kill you in this battle. That mid-stage immortal king was extremely old, his aura was incomparably steady, exuding a sense of imposingness. If you kneel and repent now, I can spare your life. That immortal king wanted to show the might of his Ying clan, giving Qin Wentian a chance. Idiot. Qin Wentian spat out. After that, he turned and walked up the platform, bathing in the emperor's eyes. In an instant, emperor light shot out from the emperor's eyes, blasting into Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian actually didn't use any strength to resist, he simply stood there, enduring the baptism of the emperor's eyes. His entire body was incomparably resplendent, exuding an unparalleled magnificence. The mid-stage immortal king of the Ying clan was humiliated by the word idiot. He stepped out as 8 true dragons revolved around him, exuding an unparalleled might that could devour the heavens and devour the earth. He domineeringly stepped onto the platform, disregarding everything. Since you are courting death, I will grant you your wish. After speaking, he directly moved towards Qin Wentian. Dragon roars echoed out, terrifying to the extreme. Bzz. A saber and sword appeared behind Qin Wentian. His left hand wielded a saber while his right hand wielded a sword. He was like his name suggested, the saber-sword immortal king. Lifting his left hand, Qin Wentian slashed out with his saber. There were no fancy techniques, it was a tyrannical strike. As this saber slashed out, the sky changed color as devil might roared. The intent of destruction shook the heavens and earth, causing chaos in the sky. Break! That old immortal king from the Ying clan roared. 8 true dragons rushed out, exuding a shocking pressure. He had been at this cultivation realm for many years and his combat prowess was extremely high. If not, he wouldn't be the one to fight. The saber and dragons collided, causing chaos in the sky. Qin Wentian stepped out, slashing out with his right hand. A single sword manifested, capable of destroying everything, his sword intent capable of splitting the heavens apart. Puchi! A crisp sound rang out. The space was still in chaos. However, the crowd only saw blood splattering everywhere. The old man's body stiffened in the air. His body trembled as blood flowed from the center of his eyebrows. His body fell towards the battle platform. He had died. This battle was even more clean compared to the earlier one. That mysterious saber-sword immortal king merely used a single slash and sword to kill the peak-stage mid-stage immortal king of the Ying clan. No matter how powerful that immortal king was, he wasn't able to block the power of a single strike. 2 lightning-fast strikes later, he was killed. The experts from the Ying clan all stood up. Their might swept over the area, violent to the extreme. The spectators were all silent, not daring to say anything. The Ying clan was challenged by someone else and they were defeated miserably. There's no need for the third battle. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. He stared at the experts from the Ying clan. Can you all scram down now? Ying Zhantian stared at Qin Wentian. If it was said that he could see through Jun Mengchen's combat prowess and knew that he had a heaven-defying physique, but for Qin Wentian's combat prowess, he actually couldn't see through Qin Wentian's true combat prowess. Such a person shouldn't be a nameless immortal king. Sabersword Immortal King, he had never heard of such a character before. Interesting, I don't understand the rules of humans. If I were you guys, I wouldn't be able to endure this. The greater demon from the desolate mountains spoke, as though he was intentionally trying to incite the anger of the Ying clan. I heard that the Ying clan is one of the 3 great ancient clans of the southern region, a supreme power. Even a mid-stage immortal king was killed on the spot and was even pointed at by the Ying clan, telling them to scram down. What a humiliation. Everyone has seen the combat prowess of the 2 of them. They are truly very powerful. My Ying clan's defeat isn't unjust. Ying Zhantian was an extraordinary character. He calmly spoke, raising the statuses of Qin Wentian and Jun Mengchen. This way, the Ying clan wouldn't lose too much face. It's just that 2 victories doesn't mean anything. This is especially so in front of the ancient clans. Are you guys sure you really want to sit on my seat? Ying Zhantian changed the topic, staring at Qin Wentian. Why? You guys don't want to admit it? Jun Mengchen coldly spoke. Everyone should be preparing to head to the city of ancient emperors, right? I'm only giving you guys a chance. This seat isn't easy to sit on. Ying Zhantian continued. So much nonsense. Jun Mengchen raged. Are you guys going to scram down or not? Very good. Let's meet again in the city of ancient emperors. Ying Zhantian stood up. Let's go. As the sound of his voice faded, the experts of the Ying clan brought the corpses away. They didn't have the face to continue staying here. The Ying clan was actually chased away from the floating palace by several immortal kings. This was truly an extremely shocking matter. Jun Mengchen smiled at Qin Wentian. Brother Saber and sword strength is extraordinary. Please. He was thinking in his heart that the experts of the heavenly talisman realm were truly as common as the clouds. This senior brother he didn't know was actually so powerful. Even if the people of the Ying clan leave, when would it be the turn of a mere immortal Qianbian Gate to sit on the throne of the floating sky immortal palace? You guys are still not qualified. An expert on a floating palace coldly spoke, as though he recognized Jun Mengchen as someone from the immortal Qianbian Gate. Chapter 1461. An immortal king from the heavenly talisman realm took a step forward. His entire body radiated boundless runic light as he slashed out with his sword. His sword was like a beam of light, faster than lightning, slashing through the air and slamming into the fiery claw. However, the claw didn't explode. Let's see if you can still laugh after entering the city of ancient emperors. Zi Daolong flicked his sleeves. After that, a group of immortal kings from the eastern regions departed as well. How arrogant, these demonic beasts don't even have us in their eyes. An immortal king from the Sanluo Immortal Empire coldly spoke. They had all paid attention to the battle between the Dongshengshan Gate and the immortal Qianbian Gate. They recognized Tuoba Saint Sky and knew that these people were from the immortal Qianbian Gate. Those leaders didn't act before, but they are all extraordinary characters at the very peak. Start a war. A supreme greater demon from the desolate mountains coldly laughed. You guys aren't qualified yet. Forget it, there's no need to be calculative with them. If not, others might feel that we are bullying them with numbers. An expert coldly spoke. After that, he glanced at everyone. Let's continue looking at the talents of the participants. If you guys want to prove yourselves, you guys can come to the battle platform of the God's Eye and see how long you guys can last. Sitting on the battle platform isn't simply a test of one's combat prowess. Given your strength, you guys are still not qualified. A peak stage immortal king from the Taihua immortal dynasty calmly spoke. Qin Wentian slashed out with his saber. A devil might capable of suppressing everything gushed forth, shattering the ice around him. The saber light slashed through the air, aiming for the torch dragon but was blocked by its sharp claws. Do you want to start a war? Tuoba Saint Sky stepped out, exuding a tyrannical aura. Holy Maiden Nam Huang Yunshi actually blushed. Hee, senior brother Qin, you are truly awesome. Jun Mengchen spoke in admiration. Qin Wentian's face was filled with black lines. Scram. Luckily, if that lass knew it was you, she would surely be extremely happy and want to come and see you. Nam Huang Yunxi glanced at Qin Wentian with a hidden bitterness in her eyes, causing Qin Wentian to be unable to bear it. Such a noble beauty looking at him with such a gaze, it was truly mesmerizing. You may leave. He spoke. A moment later, the torch dragon retreated, returning to the side of the greater demon from the desolate mountains. Qin Wentian stared at the experts from the desolate mountains. Each of them exuded an incomparably majestic aura, towering up into the sky. Although they had many experts on their side, it was true that they had no way to contend against these greater demons from the desolate mountains. For underestimating Wu Xiao of the immortal realms, he will definitely pay the price. A king of the 9 emperors' immortal state arrogantly spoke, exuding a fearsome royal aura. So this is the case. Qin Wentian nodded. They then departed, leaving this ancient emperor palace to others. I purposely came here to take a look, but I didn't see anything. Seems like I can only wait until we enter the city of ancient emperors before I can witness the magnificence of the desolate mountain ranges kings. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. After that, he continued, however, why are all the kings of the major powers gathered here? AI, are they trying to chase me and senior brother Tuoba away? Jun Mengchen sighed. Qin Wentian was speechless, but he also knew that this fellow was joking. He stretched out his sharp claws, directly grabbing towards the location where Qin Wentian and the others were at. His claws transformed into a fiery red, incomparably gigantic, as though the flames of magma were covering his claws, incomparably red as he directly extended his claws towards Qin Wentian and the others. If you want to fight, let's do it on the battle platform. Life and death don't matter. Jun Mengchen took a step forward, pointing to the battle platform. Humiliating my clan, you all deserve death. A roar rang out. An expert from the desolate mountain range stepped out as a supreme demonic might gushed forth. This was a torch dragon, and when it opened its eyes, the sun and moon lost all light, causing the heavens and earth to flicker between light and darkness. As Wu Xiao of the immortal realms, I naturally can't bear to see demonic beasts bullying my human companions. It's just that now, a storm has gathered in the gazing Emperor City. Fairies, please be more careful, the Nam Huang clan only has this much strength. I'm afraid it's a little inappropriate. After all, there are many demonic beasts here that don't understand human nature, they are capable of doing anything. Qin Wentian persuaded, at the same time, he added the humiliation of that greater demon. Qin Wentian, Jun Mengchen, and the others turned their gazes over. The person who spoke was none other than the son of Zidi, Zi Daolong. The few of them were naturally very happy to reunite. Several days later, the experts from the Nam Huang clan rushed over. They were preparing to set off for the city of ancient emperors. My mood has already been disturbed, there's no meaning to it anymore. During these few days, I've seen many geniuses from the immortal realms, but they are merely so. It's just that I've only seen a few interesting humans today. I hope that there will be more of such humans in the future. If not, wouldn't it be too lonely in the city of ancient emperors? That demonic king stood up and departed, as though he didn't care about anything else. They returned to an inn, isolated from the outside world. Tuoba Saint Sky, Jun Mengchen, and Nam Huang Yunxi were all here. Qin Wentian revealed his true form, causing the others to be shocked. After that, their eyes lit up. Nam Huang Yunxi smiled at Qin Wentian, you are getting more and more powerful. Even a mid-stage immortal king couldn't block your strength. How despairing. Everyone in the world has gathered. This time around, the city of ancient emperors is going to be lively. The experts all stood up and departed, preparing to enter the city of ancient emperors. Ha, I've already guessed which senior brother would be so extraordinary. Senior brother Qin, you have truly tricked me. Jun Mengchen laughed uproariously. Back then when we were at the celestial phenomenon realm, we fought side by side in the city of ancient emperors. To think that we would be together again now. We will definitely fight until the heavens and earth overturn in the city of ancient emperors. Demonic beasts of the desolate mountains? The immortal king from the shooting sun kingdom coldly laughed. His eyes were like divine arrows, able to pierce through the sky. Ha, Nam Huang Yunxi, don't talk about Shinga. Don't you miss my senior brother Qin as well? Jun Mengchen laughed loudly. Nam Huang Yunxi's eyes flickered as she replied in a light voice, of course not. Tuoba Sainsky's silhouette flashed as he soared up into the air, directly appearing above the floating palace. He sat down on the throne as he coldly glanced at Qin Wentian. This matter is all my fault. I wanted to come to the city of ancient emperors to temper myself, yet I didn't expect that the situation in the immortal realms has already changed. Demonic beasts are everywhere. I've already informed the Namhuang clan that there will be other seniors rushing over. Nam Huang Yunxi spoke with some guilt. After she broke through to the immortal king realm, she had always been thinking about tempering herself. Now that the world was in a state of chaos, the city of ancient emperors was a gathering place for her. Hence, she directly came here. So much nonsense. If you want to fight one-on-one, you all can choose your cultivation bases. But if you want to compare strength, which power can stand against the Namhuang clan? How shameless! Jun Mengchen roared in anger. A powerful might gushed forth from the immortal palace. The immortal kings weren't pushovers, and their auras were extremely terrifying. Qin Wentian walked to the side of Namhuang Yunxi. He glanced at Nanfeng Shinga, who seemed to have recovered a little, as he asked, Holy Maiden, are you all right? That's true, that old thief Eastern sage actually became a disciple of old devil Duo Tian. Back then, he acted against you on the Demon God Mountain, causing so many people in the central regions to want to kill you. We can't be careless. Jun Mengchen nodded. However, it's enough as long as we know that senior brother is fine. We can still see each other after we enter the city of ancient emperors. Jun Meng, this time around, I'm prepared to travel alone. If not, I might attract too much attention and cause others to guess my identity. Qin Wendian spoke. The expression of the immortal king from the heavenly talisman realm didn't change. He waved his hands and instantly slashed out a myriad of sword attacks. The supreme sword intent slammed into the talisman, causing a thunderous boom to ring out as the talisman was directly destroyed. Back then, the adjudication battle in the immortal realms caused some of the major powers in the eastern regions to form an alliance. And now, they actually came to the city of ancient emperors together. Very swiftly, in this ancient palace, only the major powers of humanity remained. Other than this, there were many characters from the peak powers of the eastern regions sitting in the floating palace. The Supreme Sword School, Tenlan Heaven Kingdom, Taihua Immortal Dynasty and others were all here. It was like they were in an alliance. I will definitely stay longer than you guys. Jun Mengchen impolitely replied. This has something to do with the movements of the desolate mountains. The greater demons of the desolate mountains are invading, and the city of ancient emperors is one of the places they want to head to the most. When this news circulated out, the major powers of the central regions all rushed here, wanting to contend against the demonic kings of the desolate mountains and display their might. If they want to be unrivaled in the righteous path, becoming an unparalleled character, defeating all the geniuses in the world, this is the path they must take. Ice Seal. Zhu Long spat out a cold voice. The floating palace was instantly covered in frost, turning it snow-white. At the same time, the shadow of a true dragon rushed out and slammed into the floating palace. In an instant, the palace directly shattered into pieces. Countless terrifying attacks of demonic dragons appeared from the ice, and everyone inside was about to be annihilated. I wonder where the immortal Qinbian Gate gets their confidence from. An expert from the Supreme Sword School coldly spoke. MHM, Qin Wendian nodded. He then turned to Namhuang Yunxi and asked, Yunxi, how is Shinga? They all left just like that? How boring. I still want to see the talent of these lofty characters and see how long they can last under the Emperor's eye. Seems like they all have their misgivings, afraid that if they can last too long, they would be mocked by others. Jun Mengchen laughed. Qin Wentian, Nam Huang Yunxi, and the others all flew into the floating palace, as though they were smacking Zi Daolong's face. If we don't have the qualifications, do you want to go up and test it out with me? Tuoba Saint Sky inclined his head and stared at Zi Daolong, declaring war with just a single word of disagreement. This caused Zi Daolong's eyes to flash, feeling some trepidation towards Tuoba Saint Sky. Back then during the final battle, Tuoba Saint Sky was one of the most dazzling characters of the immortal Qinbian Gate. He was in existence at the peak stage of the immortal king realm and absolutely not to be underestimated. Boom! As the sound of his voice faded, a violent wave of demonic qi gushed over. This was none other than the demonic might unleashed by the greater demon that injured Nanfeng Shinga earlier. After that, the experts from the heavenly talisman realm, including Jun Mengchen, all flew up into the air. Jun Mengchen then spoke, "Brother Sabersword, fairies of the Southern Phoenix clan, please come up. Let's go, we are preparing to enter the city of ancient emperors that humans hold in high regard." In the floating palace, the greater demons of the desolate mountains all coldly laughed as they stood up and departed. It was like they didn't place the human wuxiu in their eyes at all. "I'm fine, many thanks for Senior Sabersword Immortal King's concern." Nanfeng Shinga smiled, her smile was as gentle and beautiful as ever. Chapter 1462. The Eastern Sea was boundlessly vast, and it was a place one had to pass by in order to reach the city of ancient emperors. At this moment, on the east coast, Qin Wentian and the others appeared. In the vast East Sea of the Demon King. It's rumored that only immortal kings and emperors would be able to traverse the eastern seas and enter the city of ancient emperors. The last time I came here, I was sent here. This time around, I wonder what I would encounter in the city of ancient emperors. Jun Mengchen spoke in a low voice. After that, he stepped out and flew towards the boundless eastern seas. Qin Wentian and the others stepped forward one after another, followed by Nam Huang Yunxi and the other mighty ones of the Nam Huang clan, moving forward in the sky above the East Sea. It's rumored that the city of ancient emperors is an independent space located within the eastern seas. If one flies in the air, they wouldn't be able to see the city of ancient emperors. "Senior sister, you've been here before, do you know the exact situation?" An expert from the Nam Huang clan asked a peak stage immortal king's senior sister beside him. "The eastern sea has a spirit and is guarded by the demonic monarch. There will be an independent passageway for emperors to enter." After Nam Huang Yunxi informed the Nam Huang clan, a group of holy maidens from the Southern Phoenix clan rushed over to the city of ancient emperors to take a look. As they spoke, they whistled through the sky above the eastern sea. As they went deeper into the eastern sea, the waves engulfed the world, becoming more and more berserk. They rose hundreds of miles, terrifying to the extreme. "There's someone here. It's an expert from the desolate land." At this moment, they stared in another direction. A group of experts were riding on a sun war chariot. The sun war chariot was incomparably resplendent and was forged from gold. The flames of the sun evaporated the waves as it rode the wind and broke through the waves, appearing extremely tyrannical. At this moment, the person on the other side also sensed something and glanced at them from afar. His flaming eyes pierced through the void like the eyes of the sun. In an instant, it made Qin Wentian and the others feel as if they were in the middle of a raging sun. It was extremely terrifying. It's an expert from the Sun Gold race. It's an extremely powerful royal race that was born from the fusion of the Sun God Bird, Golden Crow, and the Sun Gold race. Qin Wentian's eyes could see through all illusions. He could see through the other party's true form. Very strong. The holy maiden of the Nam Huang clan spoke. The desolate mountains swept unhindered, tyrannical and tyrannical. They had the support of powerful experts. Those royal greater demons were truly terrifying, comparable to the peak powers of the immortal realms. The sun chariot sped up and tore through the void, gradually disappearing at an astonishing speed. I'm filled with anticipation. This time around, I wonder how many kings and kings from the various peak powers would appear in the city of ancient emperors. Jun Mengchen was extremely excited. We have to be more careful when we arrive at the city of ancient emperors. Regardless of the peak powers of the various regions or the royal clans of the desolate mountains, none of them are people we can afford to antagonize. In this chaotic era, killing would be even more direct, and there would be no rules. A holy maiden reminded. I know. Given my strength in the third level of the city of ancient emperors, I should be considered one of the weaker ones. I will naturally pay attention to my own safety when I fight for supremacy. Jun Mengchen understood the kind intentions of the holy maiden. He nodded. The group continued moving forward and finally arrived at the area of the destructive storm. In this area, darkness shrouded the eastern sea, and there were pitch-black destructive light wreaking havoc. Dark clouds covered the sky, and terrifying lightning energy shot out from within, destroying everything. Everyone's law energy circulated around their bodies. Their body of law was incomparably tyrannical, protecting their bodies from the violent attacks. We're almost there. Jun Mengchen's eyes flashed. Back then, the Emperor Qianbian sent him and Qin Wentian into this area. After that, the Black Dragon appeared and sent them into the city of ancient emperors. Boom! A terrifying bolt of destructive lightning blasted into them, causing their bodies to tremble. Indeed, if one wasn't an immortal king, they would die without a doubt if they entered this area. Only immortal kings and emperors could enter the city of ancient emperors. If juniors wanted to enter, they had to be escorted by an immortal king. Hence, even those in the first level of the city of ancient emperors were all descendants of immortal kings and emperors, possessing extraordinary statuses. Qin Wentian stared at the black mountain peak that stretched from the sea all the way up to the skies. Back then, he had once seen someone sitting on top of the mountain peak cultivating, borrowing the terrifying energy to temper his body. This cultivation method was extremely violent and direct, using the method of enduring attacks to strengthen his body. Rumbling sounds rang out unceasingly. Nam Huang Yunxi's cultivation base was slightly weaker. Her body was actually a little unstable. The peak stage immortal king holy maiden beside her acted as her protector. Qin Wentian could also sense how terrifying this energy was. Ordinary immortal kings might not even be able to enter this place. Senior holy maiden, back then the Dragon Emperor was the one who brought me in. How did immortal kings and emperors enter? Jun Mengchen asked. After exiting this area, there will be an ancient pathway of laws leading to the city of ancient emperors. The holy maiden who came here before replied. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. You guys go ahead first. I will cultivate here for a period of time before entering the city of ancient emperors. Nam Huang Yunxi stared at Qin Wentian. This area is extremely dangerous. Even if your cultivation base is high, the destructive energy here might pose a threat to you. In Nam Huang Yunxi's eyes, there was a trace of concern. She was very worried about Qin Wentian. This caused the other holy maidens of the Namhuang clan to feel surprised. Don't worry, this energy can't do anything to me. You guys go ahead first. Fairies, please be more careful after entering the city of ancient emperors. Qin Wentian spoke. After that, he stepped out, moving towards the Black Mountain Peak. Namhuang Yunxi started. She knew that she had no way to persuade Qin Wentian. This fellow was actually cultivating here. Senior brother Qin, you have to be more careful. We will leave first. Jun Mengchen transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian. Only he and a few others knew of Qin Wentian's identity. You too. Qin Wentian replied. Jun Mengchen and the others continued ahead, vanishing into the gray tempest. Qin Wentian came to the peak of the Black Mountain and sat down cross-legged. He actually began to gradually dispel the law energy around him. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out, the destructive tempest slammed into him. Qin Wentian groaned in misery as his body trembled violently. He closed his eyes as a holy will radiated from him. In an instant, golden runic light enveloped him as the Vajra holy will appeared. The boundless runes were like ancient characters of the Buddhist path, circulating around his body. The destructive tempest frenziedly ravaged Qin Wentian's body. After each strike, the holy will would cleanse Qin Wentian's body, tempering it, causing his body to glow with a golden luster. When he was in the Eastern Tomb, Qin Wentian had comprehended 3 types of holy will. The sword holy will that was as soft as a willow leaf, yet it contained an indomitable might. The pagoda holy will that could suppress the heavens and earth, and the Vajra holy will. The first 2 were attack-type holy wills. Qin Wentian comprehended them faster. As for the Vajra holy will, he spent the longest time comprehending it. It was a body-refining holy will. Back then, he killed several immortal kings from the Vajra sect and plundered their treasures. He knew that this holy will could be used to refine an indestructible body of the Buddhist path. In the Grey Tempest, destructive energy frenziedly blasted into Qin Wentian. He didn't borrow the power of law energy to protect himself, he only focused on tempering his indestructible body. A bolt of black lightning blasted down from the top of his head, penetrating through his body. Qin Wentian groaned in misery as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. However, he still remained in the lotus position. His body shone with an even more resplendent runic light as the golden glow around him grew even more intense. Several days later, Qin Wentian endured the boundless attacks. The golden runic light on his body was akin to a gigantic net, causing his physique to be terrifying to the extreme. He was able to withstand the destructive might of the attacks, and the light circulating around his body would negate the impact of the attacks. Strands of Vajra holy will circulated around him. Gradually, Qin Wentian, who was sitting there, actually exuded a sense of majesty, resembling an esteemed monk of the Buddhist path. Such a body refinement method was extremely direct and violent. Several months later, Qin Wentian's body radiated boundless golden light, illuminating the entire sky. A formless body of Vajra manifested, allowing the violent attacks to land on his body. The Vajra holy will seemed to have become a part of his body. Qin Wentian opened his eyes, shining with a resplendent golden light. He stood up, exuding a divine glow. His body resembled a Vajra ancient Buddha, and there were runic formations all around him. My physique is getting more and more perfect. Right now, my body is like a Vajra, able to withstand extremely powerful attacks. Qin Wentian mumbled. After that, his silhouette flashed as he left the black mountain peak and continued forward. At this moment, he didn't use any law energy, allowing the violent attacks to land on his body. He had no reaction at all. Qin Wentian continued forward and finally, he saw a ray of light. An ancient pathway of laws appeared in the chaotic region, traversing through space and leading to the city of ancient emperors. Back then, when Qin Wentian entered the city of ancient emperors, he already knew that there were 3 levels of space here. Different cultivation bases would lead to different levels of space. With no hesitation, Qin Wentian directly stepped into the ancient pathway of laws. As he continued forward, spatial fluctuations gushed forth. As Qin Wentian continued forward, he felt himself shuttling through space. Finally, an intense surge of law energy descended upon him. With a single step, he exited the ancient pathway of laws. In the next instant, Qin Wentian floated in the air. With a single step, he directly entered the city of ancient emperors. Boom! A terrifying surge of law energy blasted over, forcing Qin Wentian back. His eyes flashed as he stared ahead, his expression instantly froze. Before him, 2 incomparably powerful figures could be seen, both of them were tens of thousands of meters tall. One was a human and the other was a demon. The demon transformed into its true form, it was a silver-colored gigantic ape that gleamed with silvery light. When it roared, it would shake the heavens and earth, and when it attacked, it would cause the heavens and earth to shatter. Fighting against it was a similarly gigantic giant that resembled the king of hell. His body blazed with inextinguishable flames as his law domain enveloped the entire space. That should be an expert from the Sanluo Immortal Empire in the central regions. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. He glanced in another direction and saw that there was also an intense battle between immortal kings. A golden-colored great rock was as fast as lightning. His wings slashed out with boundless might, akin to a phantom. His opponent was an expert wielding a divine arrow, his entire body glowing with a divine glow. The arrow pierced through the air, piercing through everything, aiming for the body of the golden rock. No matter how fast the golden rock was, it was useless. That divine arrow could lock onto him, and the golden rock could only use brute force to shatter it. A golden rock of the rock race, shooting sun empires and Empyreans. Qin Wendian glanced at this space. There were many spectators here. His silhouette flashed as he descended from the air and came to the side of a female immortal king. He then asked, "What's going on? You just entered the city of ancient emperors through the ancient path of laws, right?" The female immortal king glanced at Qin Wendian and smiled. Right now in the city of ancient emperors, it's unknown how many battles like this would occur every day. Experts are as common as clouds, geniuses gather here. Geniuses at the same cultivation level are all fighting for supremacy, and if there's an unrivaled character who can become an ancient emperor, ordinary immortal kings can only be spectators. Chapter 1463. Qin Wendian's eyes gleamed with sharpness. The competition in the city of ancient emperors was actually so intense. He naturally understood that this place wasn't the first place he came to. Although they were both in the city of ancient emperors, they weren't in the same level. This place might be the third level, a place where immortal kings could enter. At this moment, Qin Wendian discovered another phenomenon. The immortal kings here all had faint traces of emperor light behind their backs. As for the four immortal kings fighting in the air, the emperor light behind them was even denser, radiating resplendent multicolored light that was extremely dazzling, resembling divine light. Emperor's fate. The female immortal king had a look of fascination on her face. From ancient times until now, how many immortal kings and emperors have come to the city of ancient emperors? Why did they come here? Emperor's fate is something unique to the third level of the city of ancient emperors. The more dazzling one is, the more emperor's fate would be. When emperor's fate is condensed, it can open a secret realm in the city of ancient emperors. It's rumored that many supreme innate techniques and techniques of the immortal emperors originated from the city of ancient emperors. And now, with the appearance of the Tiandao Sacred Academy and the appearance of the Demon God Mountain, a new era has arrived. All the rare ultimate arts should appear one after another. The female immortal king's eyes gleamed brightly. Enjoy it well. This era will definitely not disappoint you. This will be an era where ordinary immortal kings are like ants. This will also be an era where supreme geniuses will shine brightly. Right now, does the entire immortal realms feel that a new era is about to arrive? Qin Wendian mumbled. Naturally, compared to the era of ancient emperors countless years ago, the immortal realms have been silent for many years. The appearance of the Heavenly Tao Sacred Academy itself is a kind of omen. Now, with the appearance of the Demon God Mountain, even the current city of ancient emperors has undergone an indescribable transformation. In fact, this transformation is still growing in intensity. Right now, there are already many people saying that the city of ancient emperors has sensed the arrival of so many experts, and that the prelude to the grand era is about to begin. Even the city of ancient emperors has undergone a transformation. Qin Wendian's heart trembled. Seems like this transformation has truly engulfed the entire immortal realms. Thank you for telling me. Qin Wendian cupped one hand in the other before his chest and thanked him. You're welcome. Even if I don't say it, you will soon find out. It's just a slight effort on my part. Naturally, if we have to fight in the future, I won't be polite. The beautiful eyes of the female immortal king flashed with a smile. Qin Wendian nodded, naturally. At this moment, a great battle had just ended in the air. Shooting Sun Kingdom's expert had unleashed a barrage of divine arrows, causing the golden rock to fall and gravely injure him. Qin Wendian could see that the emperor's fate behind him had grown brighter while the golden rocks had weakened considerably. One was flourishing while the other was declining. First, let's take the scepter and control the god. Qin Wendian silently mused. After that, he bid farewell to the female immortal king and departed. Back then when he left the city of ancient emperors, he had a connection with that place. The black dragon told him that after his cultivation base grew stronger, he would come back here to take the scepter. This time around, he came to the city of ancient emperors because he wanted to obtain the scepter that no other geniuses in the third level could obtain. Qin Wendian had no distractions in his heart as he sped towards a certain direction. On his way there, he saw countless geniuses contending against each other. Kings fought against each other, causing the sky to change color as the space around them was in chaos. There were also experts with unparalleled amounts of emperor's fate behind them, incomparably resplendent and extremely powerful. He also saw some secret realms. On top of a towering stone pillar, an expert with an exuberant amount of emperor's fate could be seen sitting cross-legged, as though he had obtained some sort of mysterious inheritance. In a radius of 100 miles, no one could enter. The surroundings of the towering stone pillar were filled with terrifying calamitous light, destroying everything that came near it. All sorts of wondrous sceneries appeared before his eyes. Qin Wendian could sense how extraordinary this level of the city of ancient emperors was. After many days, he arrived at a desolate place. The antiquity city floated in the air, surrounded by experts as many as the clouds. There were even greater demons flying in the air, circling around the antiquity city, yet they had no way to enter. It's closed. Why is the ancient pathway closed? Someone spoke with reluctance. That person was incomparably dazzling, with a resplendent divine glow above his head and emperor's fate behind him. Yet, he still couldn't enter. Sighing, his silhouette flashed as he departed in disappointment. However, there were still many experts waiting for him. They were filled with reluctance. Back then when they came here, they all had a chance to enter the ancient pathway. But now, it was closed. Senior Black Dragon once promised me that the palace would be closed. Seems like he didn't lie to me. Qin Wendian silently mused. He continued forward, heading towards the ancient pathway. There's no need to go any further. The ancient pathway is closed, no one can enter. An expert calmly spoke. Qin Wendian continued forward. That expert had a cold smile on his face. After that, Qin Wendian stepped onto the ancient pathway. At this instant, a resplendent light flashed as the pathway opened up. Qin Wendian continued forward, unobstructed. The eyes of the experts in the surroundings gleamed with sharpness as they stared at Qin Wendian. How can this be? Why can he enter? Someone asked, rushing into the pathway. However, the pathway was closed, not allowing them to enter. Who is he? Numerous sharp gazes stared at Qin Wendian, only to see him directly walking towards the entrance of the Antiquities City. No one knew that Qin Wendian entered the Antiquities City again, directly entering the godhood. He stared at the scepter with a fiery gaze. You have come. A voice rang out. Resplendent light flashed as the black dragon appeared. Senior, I should have the qualifications to hold the scepter now, right? Qin Wendian asked. Just like what I said back then, I closed the godhood and have been waiting for you for a long time, the black dragon calmly replied. Qin Wendian bowed slightly, many thanks, senior. Don't be in a hurry to thank me. I waited for you because I promised you back then. However, there's one more thing I need to explain to you. You temporarily cannot take away this scepter, the black dragon said. Why? Qin Wendian asked in bewilderment. Right now, I'm already an immortal king. Am I still not qualified? That's not the case. According to the situation back then, the current you is already qualified. But now. The black dragon slowly spoke. His eyes gleamed with a dazzling light as the scepter glowed with a terrifying luster. In an instant, Qin Wendian only felt the connection between him and the scepter being forcibly erased. This caused his expression to change, becoming extremely unsightly to behold. Senior, what do you mean by this? What's the difference now? Qin Wendian furrowed his brows as he asked. You should also know that the winds and clouds in the outside world are changing. Right now, the era is different and the rules have changed. Everything will have to start anew. If you want to obtain the scepter again, you have to start anew. The black dragon calmly spoke. Fight your way in from outside the palace and pass through the ancient pathway. Qin Wentian asked. That's not the case. Fight against the geniuses in the city of ancient emperors. When you are qualified enough, you will naturally understand. The black dragon replied. Junior still doesn't understand. Back then, I already obtained it and Senior has already promised me. Why did the rules change just like that? Qin Wentian asked, feeling extremely unhappy in his heart. You can't even understand when you were outside? Now that the sky has changed, the rules naturally have to change as well. In the 3 levels of the city of ancient emperors, there were many who didn't manage to enter the ancient pathway. Because your cultivation base was weaker, you had the advantage and succeeded. But now, things are different. The rules in the city of ancient emperors have changed and supreme demon-level geniuses will be born. Hence, you have to start anew and fight against them. The black dragon slowly spoke. Naturally, you have an extraordinary bloodline and broke through to the immortal king realm in such a short period of time. Your talent is outstanding and your chances are very high. It's just that you have to fight for the qualifications again. Back then, I passed through so many dangers and even risked my life to obtain the inheritance. Senior actually wants me to start anew. As for the inheritance, shouldn't it belong to me the moment I obtain it? I still don't understand. What exactly is this scepter? Senior wants to overturn the rules. Qin Wentian's voice was cold. Back then, it wasn't easy for him to barge into the antiquity city. Although he said he wanted to start anew, the truth was that Qin Wentian was cancelling his qualifications to obtain the inheritance back then. Who wouldn't be angry? Humph, why are you so stubborn? The black dragon was also unhappy when he heard Qin Wentian's words. The era is different and supreme demon-level geniuses will be born. If you are confident, why don't you start anew? I understand. Senior thinks that although my talent is good, there might be supreme geniuses in this era who might surpass me. Hence, you want me to cancel the inheritance and fight for it again? Qin Wentian directly spoke. Putting it bluntly, this should be what he meant. Precisely so. The black dragon nodded and straightforwardly replied. Junior, can I ask what exactly is this scepter for Senior to act like this? Back then, did the ancient emperors really descend only for this scepter? Qin Wentian asked. This scepter is related to the inheritance of Tao elements and isn't the inheritance of this world. Hence, I made this decision after careful consideration. As for the rumors, you can trust them, but you can't completely believe them. You can leave now, the black dragon said. Alright, Junior bids his farewell. Senior, please send me out. Qin Wentian calmed down at this moment. The black dragon exhaled. In an instant, Qin Wentian only felt a surge of law energy enveloping him. In the next instant, he was sent out of the antiquity city, back to the outside of the city. He came out. The gazes of many people turned to Qin Wentian with astonishment in their eyes. What happened to this fellow? The ancient pathway has reopened. At this moment, another exclamation rang out. However, Qin Wentian acted as though he didn't see it. He didn't step on the ancient pathway anymore. He turned and directly departed the area with his back facing the antiquity city, not giving it a second glance. Gods, scepters. Were they the inheritances of Tao elements? It wasn't an inheritance from this world. This meant that the city of ancient emperors contained secrets from other immortal realms. This inheritance might have originated from the other immortal realms and came here to search for a successor. No wonder the ruins of ancient emperors could be found here. In fact, there was even a war here. Seems like the city of ancient emperors had a great secret. But even so what of it? Just because it was a Tao element from another immortal realm, could it be discarded and his qualifications to enter the city of ancient emperors be revoked? Since this was the case, there was no need for him to give up on it. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the air. This city of ancient emperors was filled with secrets. He came here for the scepter, but he didn't expect that the ending would be like this. Was it because the era was different? Could it be that in this era, it was impossible for him to ascend to the peak? Chapter 1464. Qin Wendian didn't even bother to turn his head back, wanting to leave this place. Sir, please wait a moment. At this moment, a voice drifted over from behind. An expert appeared, blocking Qin Wendian's path with a single step. Is there a problem? Qin Wendian frowned as his expression turned cold. He was in an extremely bad mood, yet this person was so rude, directly blocking his path. I wish to ask, sir, why were you able to enter that palace earlier? What was inside? Could it be that sir obtained some inheritance? That expert asked, filled with curiosity towards Qin Wendian. Not only for him, there were several other experts behind Qin Wendian, all of them waiting for Qin Wendian's reply. No comment, please step aside. Qin Wendian continued moving forward, wanting to bypass the other party's body. However, that person's silhouette flickered, continuing to block Qin Wendian's path as he spoke. Sir, please speak clearly. That's right, we are all very curious as well. Behind him, an expert spoke. They were all thinking, did Qin Wendian obtain something inside? It was rumored that this palace that resembled the antiquity city was a place of inheritance. Many immortal emperors had once come here for it, and some of them even fell into it. Right now, Qin Wendian could come and go as he pleased, entering and exiting as he pleased. They naturally had to find out more. I'm sorry, I'm unable to satisfy everyone's curiosity. Qin Wendian continued forward. The aura of the person blocking him surged ferociously. He was at the mid-stage of the immortal king realm and was like a desolate primordial beast, staring at Qin Wendian. Upon seeing this scene, a cold light flashed in Qin Wendian's eyes. Instantly, an incomparably resplendent runic light radiated from his body. Golden light enveloped his entire body, akin to a diamond formation. Stepping out, he completely disregarded his opponent and directly stepped forth. Refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, the man snorted coldly and shouted. He raised his hand and blasted out a beast seal towards Qin Wendian. Rumble, that terrifying attack slammed into Qin Wendian, yet it didn't affect Qin Wendian in the slightest. After that, Qin Wendian unsheathed his sword and slashed out, causing the heavens and earth to split apart. Pucci, that person was directly sliced into two. Qin Wendian didn't pause at all as he continued walking forward. The experts behind him froze in their tracks, staring at this scene in astonishment as their hearts surged wildly. Behind Qin Wendian, a strand of Emperor's fate appeared. Although it was weak, it was still enveloped by a multicolored light, making him seem even more extraordinary. There were no fluctuations in his expression as he continued forward, preparing to return to the central region of the City of Ancient Emperors. He didn't know how many secrets there were in the City of Ancient Emperors. He also didn't know what the Ancient Emperors were fighting for exactly. He also didn't know what the Tao elements outside the immortal realms were. However, since the Black Dragon wanted him to start all over again, breaking his promise, he would walk a path that belonged to him alone in the City of Ancient Emperors. Today, the inheritance had abandoned him. In the future, when he reached the peak and the inheritance was placed before him, he would discard it like it was a pair of shoes. Stepping in the air, Qin Wendian's steps were incomparably resolute. As he continued forward, there were still battles erupting in the City of Ancient Emperors. Occasionally, there would be beams of resplendent light descending from the sky, like treasures from the heavens. At this moment, Qin Wendian halted his steps. He inclined his head and stared at the sky. Over there was a supreme immortal king fighting against several immortal king-level greater demons from the desolate mountains. The scene was incomparably transcendent, and there were many immortal kings spectating from the surroundings. The crown prince of the Taihua immortal dynasty is truly extraordinary. His emperor's fate is boundless, illuminating the sky. Hua Yunsheng's cultivation base is at the initial phase of the peak stage of the immortal king realm. He has an innate immortal king physique that only appears once every 10,000 years. His emperor's seal is unparalleled. Even 3 greater demons from the desolate mountains were suppressed by him. He's simply too powerful. Truly powerful. Given his talent, he might even have the potential to contend for the position of an ancient emperor. Someone spoke. As they spoke, the emperor's fate behind Hua Yunsheng grew even more resplendent, as though it was growing stronger. Qin Wendian glanced at it as a strange light flashed in his eyes. This person hasn't even won yet. He merely gained the recognition and respect of others. Could his emperor's fate also grow stronger? Very swiftly, Hua Yunsheng blasted out an ancient killing imprint, penetrating through the body of a greater demon. In that instant, the emperor's fate behind Hua Yunsheng grew even stronger, as though it had proven Qin Wendian's conjecture in his heart. Strength in combat could give birth to emperor's fate. Gaining the worship of others could also increase emperor's fate. How miraculous! Crown Prince Yunsheng was born extraordinary and has extraordinary talent. He's an innate king and can condense thousands of ancient imprints to attack at the same time, transforming them into 1,000-layered waves. Although these three demonic beasts are powerful, how can they be a match for the Crown Prince? They will definitely be killed. An expert from the Taihua immortal dynasty spoke arrogantly, helping Hua Yunsheng to gain the faith of others. Rumble. At this moment, a sun descended from the sky. In an instant, the entire battlefield was enveloped by the law energy of the sun. Flames capable of incinerating everything descended, causing Hua Yunsheng's eyes to flash. He gave up fighting against the two greater demons. He inclined his head and stared at the sky as he coldly spoke, "Where did these demonic beasts come from?" As the sound of his voice faded, a golden sun chariot emerged from the sun in the sky. A young man clad in golden sun armor sat within. His eyes were like flames, directly enveloping Hua Yunsheng as he calmly spoke, "Retreat." As the sound of his voice faded, the two surviving greater demons obediently retreated to the side. Hua Yunsheng's body flickered with imprints as he unleashed a powerful attack towards the sky, exuding boundless might. However, at the same time, numerous golden sun spears shot out from the golden sun chariot, directly colliding with the imprints, shattering them. The golden chariot continued moving forward, descending from the sun. The terrifying sunlight enveloped Hua Yunsheng. The young man in the chariot stood up and stepped out, directly bringing the sun with him as he appeared before Hua Yunsheng. The sun's spear stabbed out, causing space to distort as it penetrated through everything. Hua Yunsheng roared in rage, blasting out 10,000 imprints. However, the young man's attack contained a heaven-shaking might, capable of penetrating through everything, incinerating everything. The sun's spear directly broke apart the attack and penetrated through Hua Yunsheng's head, directly killing him. There was no hesitation at all, even if his opponent was the crown prince of the Taihua immortal dynasty. This. The hearts of everyone pounded madly. After that, the young man turned and returned to the chariot. His eyes coldly glanced downwards as the emperor's fate behind him was as resplendent as the sun. After that, the golden sun chariot left this place. Even though he was leaving, the emperor's fate behind him was still growing. It's him, one of those who stand at the absolute peak of the immortal king realm. The hearts of everyone trembled. In the city of ancient emperors, emperors had their own emperor's Tao, kings had their own king's Tao. Among the immortal kings, there were some extremely dazzling characters. Not long after they arrived, their names shook the entire city of ancient emperors, harvesting emperor's fate. Nobody could compare to them. Among them, one of them was an expert from the Sun Gold race. Harvesting emperor's fate was like taking something out of their pockets, extremely easy. Just like now, this domineering attack killed the crown prince of the Taihua immortal dynasty, harvesting a lot of emperor's fate. These people were too ruthless, too tyrannical, and naturally, too powerful. Qin Wendian glanced at the departing golden war chariot. Before this, outside the city of ancient emperors, he personally saw many experts from the Gold Sun race descending. But now, there was only one person from the Taihua immortal dynasty. Clearly, after entering the city of ancient emperors, this person acted alone, sweeping through everything. At this moment, numerous experts sped over. Among them, the experts from the Taihua immortal dynasty were the most numerous. Their countenances were all ashen, incomparably unsightly to behold. Crown Prince Yunsheng was killed. Other than this, there were also some allies from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, the Supreme Sword School, and many others. I didn't expect to encounter such a person here. Crown Prince Yunsheng is unfortunate, everyone, my condolences. An expert from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom consoled. That person is extremely powerful, launching a sneak attack. It's not that the Crown Prince's strength is weak, it's just that the opponent's combat prowess is extremely high. However, this time around, there are many experts from the Taihua Immortal Dynasty, including the Crown Prince. If there's a chance, we will definitely seek revenge from the Gold Sun race. The greater demons of the desolate mountains are too tyrannical. My Supreme Sword School won't sit by and watch. This time around, there are several peak-stage immortal kings from my sect, including those at the peak. Even if we encounter that person, we can fight him and take revenge for Crown Prince Yunsheng in the future. Also, there's Crown Prince Wushuang of my Tenlon Heaven Kingdom. If there's a chance, we will take revenge for Crown Prince Yunsheng. Everyone consoled the people from the Taihua Immortal Dynasty while not forgetting to praise themselves. Let's go, all the experts are gathered at Zi Daolong's side. After he slays the devilish cultivators, he will hunt for the greater demons of the desolate mountains. Below, when Qin Wendian heard the arrogant words of these mid-stage and initial-stage immortal kings, he couldn't help but to laugh as he continued on his way. After being killed, they actually dared to speak so eloquently. How ridiculous. Michem. The senses of immortal kings were extremely sharp. When an expert heard the laughter, he turned his gaze over and saw Qin Wendian. A moment later, his eyes gleamed with killing intent as he roared, "It's you. Stop right there." Numerous gazes turned over, staring at Qin Wendian. After that, all of them recognized him. It was actually the Sabersword Immortal King whom they met in the Gazing Emperor City. Back then, this man was also extremely tyrannical, not putting them in his eyes at all. Qin Wendian ignored him and continued walking forward. But at this moment, a sword intent directly slashed over. Qin Wendian lifted his hand and shattered it. After that, he abruptly turned as his eyes gleamed with coldness. Before this, you were too arrogant. Since we met here, there's no need for you to leave. An expert walked towards Qin Wendian, killing intent flashing in his eyes. Kill him. The eyes of the immortal king from the Taihua Immortal Dynasty flashed with anger, as though he was venting his anger on the Golden War Chariot. They had the advantage in numbers, and there were quite a number of immortal kings among them. Killing Qin Wendian naturally wouldn't be a problem. The immortal king from the Supreme Sword School pointed out with both his hands. A moment later, 10,000 swords shot out, causing the starry space to dim. You don't dare to chase after others and dare to spout such arrogant words here. Now, you actually want to kill me to vent your anger? Qin Wendian coldly spoke. He soared into the air and similarly slashed out with his sword, penetrating through everything. A supreme sword light slashed down with irresistible force, destroying everything in its path. With a piercing sound, his opponent was cleaved into two, completely annihilated. Qin Wendian showed no mercy. Qin Wendian continued forward. His body was like a great rock, swift to the extreme as he slashed out with another sword strike. This sword strike seemed to manifest an illusory realm as a supreme sword intent descended, capable of destroying everything. Another swishing sound rang out as blood splattered through the air. Another immortal king from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom was slain. Since you all think you are extraordinary, I will give you a chance to prove yourselves. Qin Wendian stepped out as he coldly spoke. His killing intent towered up into the sky, causing the hearts of all the immortal kings in the surroundings to tremble. Chapter 1465. Qin Wendian had nowhere to vent the anger in his heart. The people from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom and the Supreme Sword School had already formed a death grudge with him. Now that they actually offended him, how could he not unleash a massacre? Since the Black Dragon said that the era was different and there were countless geniuses in the city of ancient emperors, he might as well use his identity as the Sabersword Immortal King to fight a grand battle. Kill him. The Supreme Sword School and Tenlon Heaven Kingdom instantly surrounded Qin Wentian. Their auras soared into the sky as different law domains manifested. In an instant, the sky around Qin Wentian changed, the sun and moon dimmed as destructive swords slashed down from the starry space, wanting to annihilate everything. Qin Wentian felt like he was in the midst of doomsday. Boundless runic light radiated from Qin Wentian. The Vitra Holy will refine his body, causing his physique to be unparalleled. With a slash of his saber and sword, he manifested a demonic dragon that shattered the heavens and earth. Many experts blasted at him, yet they couldn't destroy him. What physique does he have? Why is his defense so strong? Everyone mused. The hearts of those immortal kings trembled. His saber slashed out, akin to a bolt of lightning, aiming for an immortal king. That immortal king roared as a fearsome sword formation manifested around him. However, Qin Wentian merely grabbed out with his palm as a suppressive might bore down on him, causing the sword formation to be restricted. Slash! The saber slashed out, transforming into a vermilion bird that destroyed his opponent. The sword in his right hand sliced through the air once more, containing a supreme sword intent that could sever mountains and rivers. A mid-stage immortal king was cleaved into two. The short battle caused great waves of shock to rise in the hearts of the surrounding immortal kings. Wasn't this combat prowess too terrifying? The emperor's fate behind Qin Wentian grew increasingly resplendent. Wielding a sword and saber with both hands, he exuded magnificence through the generations as he stood in the center of the surrounding immortal kings. It was like he had an indestructible divine body, no attacks could break through his defense. Every time he slashed out, there would definitely be deaths. In the blink of an eye, those immortal kings surrounding him were all killed miserably. The hearts of the remaining immortal kings trembled as they spoke, "Let's go." As soon as he finished speaking, several immortal kings were killed to the point that they didn't dare to continue fighting and prepared to flee. Qin Wentian directly slashed out with his sword towards the first person who turned to flee. A sword intent that seemed to originate from the primordial times descended from the heavens. That person's body instantly stiffened in the air as he died, slain. Have you gone mad? You actually dared to kill people from our peak powers like this? An immortal king roared in rage. Qin Wentian's expression was indifferent and emotionless. He slashed out with his sword again, and a sword mark appeared on the forehead of the person who spoke. It went all the way down and was destroyed. These people were laughable. They had wanted to kill him before, and now they were saying that they dared to kill people from his top forces. You will definitely die without a burial ground. Only one person remained. He cursed, staring at Qin Wentian with a gaze like he was looking at a devil. This man was simply a god of death, he had no scruples at all. In his eyes, there was only killing intent. Puchi! A light sound rang out. Mercilessly, he was slain. The immortal kings from the Supreme Sword School, Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, Taihua Immortal Dynasty and the other peak powers were all killed. Not a single one was left alive. This was simply too shocking. Madness. Everyone stared at the silhouette wielding the sword and saber. They didn't expect that there would be someone so crazy. Although the other party wanted to kill him, to kill so many people without any scruples, simply disregarding the consequences. This was simply too crazy. In the past, in the city of ancient emperors, everyone would show mercy when they fought. This was especially so when they were facing experts from the peak powers. They wouldn't dare to go too far. But now, that immortal king from the Sun Gold race drove the Golden Sun chariot here and directly killed the crown prince of the Taihua Immortal Dynasty. And now, a passerby sabersword immortal king actually killed immortal kings from the peak powers. Such a scene was simply too crazy. Immortal kings were like weeds, their corpses littered the ground. Behind Qin Wentian, Emperor's fate radiated brilliantly. He swept his gaze over the surroundings. There were so many immortal kings here, but none of them dared to match his gaze. His silhouette flashed as he started to clean up the battlefield. After killing so many immortal kings, they would surely have many treasures on them. He mustn't waste them. How ruthless. The Supreme Sword School and the other peak powers are about to cough up blood. Someone silently mused. Why don't I see any peak stage immortal kings? Qin Wentian stared at everyone as he asked. Also, what's the matter with the devil maidens they were talking about? Qin Wentian asked again. There's a huge battle today that concerns the battle between the peak powers of the eastern regions and the devil maidens. Someone replied. What are the details? Qin Wentian asked. Speaking of which, this matter was instigated by the devil maidens. Although her cultivation base isn't very high, her status is extraordinary. It's rumored that she's the priestess of a supreme power in the myriad devil islands, for example, the Judiciary Devil Hall. After she entered the city of ancient emperors, she led her people to hunt down Zi Daolong and the others. Both sides clashed several times, and after that, Zi Daolong allied with the peak powers of the eastern regions, wanting to kill her. That person spoke. As for the cause of this matter, it seems that it's because of Qin Wentian from the eastern regions. I'm not too clear about the details. Boom. Qin Wentian's aura was incomparably cold, gushing forth ferociously, engulfing this entire space. Little lass by Qin. Qin Wentian mused in a low voice. At this moment, how could he not understand who came to the city of ancient emperors? That little lass by Qin must have come. She wanted to deal with Zi Daolong because she wanted revenge for him. Back then on the Demon God Mountain, when the Dongxing Heaven Emperor killed Zi Daolong through space, Zidi was there as well. This wasn't a secret and many people from the major powers knew about it. In fact, many people even thought that he had already died. If Bai Qing heard this news, she would surely be enraged. She wanted to hunt down Zi Daolong because of him. Where? Qin Wentian asked. In that direction. That person pointed his finger towards the distance. Qin Wentian turned and directly stepped out. His immortal sense extended outwards, enveloping an extremely distant location. In that direction, a heaven-shaking killing intent gushed over, terrifying to the extreme. In the air far away, 10,000 swords could be seen flowing about, whistling through the air. The sky changed color as the people in the surroundings stared in shock. What a powerful might! This was the arrival of a peak-stage immortal king, exuding boundless killing intent. How terrifying! That sword intent flowed too quickly, descending in the blink of an eye. In the air, sword might filled the entire space, transforming into constellations. Countless astral swords gushed over, it was unknown how terrifying this was. Within that astral sword intent, there was a peak-stage immortal king from the Paragon Sword sect. Although he was only at the initial phase of the Paragon Sword sect, his combat prowess was extremely shocking. His eyes shot out sharp swords, directly piercing into Qin Wentian's eyes. How fast! This saber-sword immortal king is in for it. He will die for sure. Many people exclaimed. This saber-sword immortal king's combat prowess was unparalleled, but he was after all a mid-stage immortal king. The person who came was a peak-stage immortal king. If it was an ordinary peak-stage immortal king, he might still have a chance to fight. But the aura exuded by this person was too terrifying. This person was definitely a peak-stage immortal king with extraordinary combat prowess. The astral swords in the air were all Paragon swords. Slaughtering the students of my Supreme Sword School. For those who are related to you, I will kill them all. That person's voice was cold to the extreme. He pointed his finger forward and in an instant, the astral swords in the air increased in speed, enveloping a radius of 1,000 miles. With Qin Wentian at the center, the sword intent was extremely terrifying. The surrounding immortal kings all retreated, evading the terrifying sword intent. All of them silently felt pity for Qin Wentian. Such a powerful immortal king was killed just like that. The astral swords buried everything, shooting towards Qin Wentian. At this moment, runes circulated around Qin Wentian's body, transforming into an indestructible Vajra body. Not only so, beams of sword intent circulated around his body, transforming into a screen of Vajra swords. Qin Wentian stared up at the sky as he gripped his sword and saber tightly, his eyes gleaming with a terrifying light. Bzz. The 10,000 swords pierced through the air, burying everything, destroying everything. Many people sighed in sorrow. Such absolute killing might, Qin Wentian had no way to reverse it. There was basically no way for him to block it. This was simply too violent. Boom, boom, boom. The astral swords slashed down, burying Qin Wentian within the screen of swords. The peak stage immortal king of the Supreme Sword School stood proudly in the air, staring at everyone. Who knows who this person is? Which power does he belong to? Qin Wentian actually dared to slaughter the students of his Supreme Sword School. In that case, he could only kill his way back. Everyone didn't know how to reply. But at this moment, a sword intent that didn't belong to a peak stage immortal king of the Paragon Sword sect suddenly gushed forth from the destroyed area. Everyone turned their gazes over only to see a terrifying sword intent erupting forth, capable of destroying all swords. Qin Wentian's figure appeared once more. He was enveloped by the screen of swords, standing there unmoving. His gaze was filled with disdain, incomparably dazzling. This. The immortal king simply didn't dare to believe their eyes. How could he be so powerful? Such a powerful sword intent couldn't even break through his defense. What sort of existence was this saber-sword immortal king exactly? Michem. That peak stage immortal king from the Supreme Sword School frowned as a look of bewilderment appeared on his face. How could this be? His Paragon sword might actually fail to kill Qin Wentian. Could it be that Qin Wentian had some sort of defensive treasure? Is your sword even worthy of being called a Paragon sword? Qin Wentian coldly spoke. After that, he lifted his hand and slashed out with his sword. At the instant this sword slashed out, a river of swords manifested in the air. This river of swords contained an unparalleled sword intent that could destroy the constellations in the sky. The expression of the peak stage immortal king from the Supreme Sword School drastically changed. His sword intent frenziedly gushed forth as the river of swords collided with it. After that, the sword intent from the river of swords erupted forth, penetrating through his body. With a piercing sound, his body was completely annihilated, disintegrating into nothingness under the might of that supreme sword intent, not even his bones remained. That sword intent pierced through the river of swords, vanishing into the distance. The peak stage immortal king from the Supreme Sword School died. Killed with a single strike. The emperor's fate behind Qin Wentian grew even more resplendent. The spectating immortal kings were all dumbfounded as they panted heavily. A peak stage immortal king from the Supreme Sword School was killed with a single strike. This man was none other than the Saber-Sword Immortal King. Chapter 1466. The Saber-Sword Immortal King. Why haven't I heard of him before? It's impossible for such a supreme character to be nameless. The magnificence of this man is sufficient to shake an entire region. Being able to kill a peak stage immortal king from the Supreme Sword School. This man's combat prowess is definitely comparable to the most outstanding geniuses in the city of ancient emperors. If his cultivation base is a little higher, he would definitely be able to contend against those geniuses. Many thoughts flashed through the minds of everyone, all of them were stunned by how strong Qin Wentian was. The emperor's fate behind Qin Wentian grew more and more resplendent. Clearly, all the immortal kings here were filled with reverence for him. The faith energy was harvested by him, causing his emperor's fate to increase. In addition to his earlier battle achievements, Qin Wentian's emperor's fate had already surpassed many extraordinary immortal kings in the city of ancient emperors. Even the peak stage immortal king from the Supreme Sword School who came earlier wasn't as dazzling as Qin Wentian's. At this moment, Qin Wentian directly departed, moving towards the horizons, vanishing from sight. At this moment, the entire space was in an uproar. Everyone, Has anyone heard of the name of the saber-sword immortal king before? Someone curiously asked. Nope. Nope, I wonder which region he is from. The experts all spoke, feeling somewhat shocked. They didn't expect that no one had heard of him before. Seems like the rumors are true. The era has changed. From the looks of the city of ancient emperors, this time around, there would surely be a large number of supreme geniuses. I wonder how many supreme geniuses would appear, dominating the city of ancient emperors. Someone mumbled in a low voice. Yeah, the crown prince of the Taihua immortal dynasty was pierced through by a golden spear, the peak stage immortal king of the supreme sword school was killed with a single sword strike, and the other immortal kings were all killed by the saber-sword immortal king. The current situation in the city of ancient emperors is completely different from the past. This is too crazy. Although we aren't immortal kings, we are all heroes of our own regions. But now, we are no longer strong enough. Some experts sighed silently. Even for immortal kings, if they were born in this era, they would also feel inferior. That's right. Seems like in this trip to the city of ancient emperors, we can only be spectators and witness the rise of the various hegemonic powers. All of them had different emotions in their hearts. During these days in the city of ancient emperors, they all felt that a different era had arrived. The immortal realms would soon welcome a golden era. Qin Wentian naturally didn't know what the others were thinking about him. At this moment, he was in a hurry to rush towards that direction. His body was like a rock, streaking across the sky like a bolt of lightning. There was only Bai Qing in his mind. Bai Qing came from the myriad Devil Islands, entered the city of ancient emperors, and pursued Zi Daolong. Everything was because of him. This little lass was always like this, silently sacrificing herself in the back. The son of Zi Daolong, was an extraordinary character. In addition, the major powers of the eastern regions have long formed an alliance, advancing and retreating together. They would definitely join forces to deal with Bai Qing. He was naturally very worried. Finally, Qin Wentian saw that he had arrived at the city area of the Emperor City. In front of him, there were numerous palaces and experts standing in all directions. In the middle of the battlefield, several experts were engaged in a violent battle. Demonic might towered up to the sky, purple qi crisscrossed, and sword qi slashed everywhere. Little lass Bai Qing. Qin Wentian's gaze directly ignored the battlefield and landed on a group of figures in the airspace above a palace. This group of people were all devil cultivators, and in the center, there was a figure exuding magnificence. She was clad in the robes of a judge and had a laurel crown on her head. A blood-colored judge mask covered her face. This person was none other than Bai Qing. As expected, she has arrived. That damned monk is here as well. Qin Wentian glanced at Bujie. Right now, Bujie's long black hair fluttered in the wind and there were many experts around him, protecting him. Seems like this fellow Bujie is doing very well in the myriad ancient devil hall. Qin Wentian silently mused. Only to see at this moment, a gaze turned over to him. It was none other than Bujie. His senses were extremely sharp and he could sense that Qin Wentian was looking at him. His eyes gleamed with a golden light, wanting to see through all illusions and see through Qin Wentian. However, right now, regardless of Qin Wentian's appearance or aura, both were concealed with the help of a divine weapon. Bujie had no way to see through Qin Wentian's cultivation base. A look of bewilderment flashed on his face before he shifted his gaze away, continuing to observe the battlefield. As for Qin Wentian, he stared at the figures standing opposite Bai Qing. As expected, it was none other than Zi Daolong and the others, as well as the experts from the Supreme Sword School, Tenlan Heaven Kingdom and the other peak powers of the eastern regions. Back then in the city of ancient emperors, Mo Xia killed Zi Daoyang. Zidi wanted to place this debt on Qin Wentian and even sent Zi Daolong to the Evergreen Kingdom and the Namhuang clan to demand for Qin Wentian. After that, not only was this debt not settled, the hatred between them grew deeper and deeper. Bujie, as a monk of the Wenxin Temple, it's fine if you want to return to the secular world. Why did you choose to become a devil cultivator? You are one of the last 3 people from the Winshin Temple, yet you chose to become a devil cultivator. What position do you place the Winshin Temple in? An expert stared at Bujie as he calmly asked. This expert was from the 9 Emperors' immortal state, a peak power of the central regions like the Winshin Temple. The strength of the Winshin Temple was extraordinary. Every generation, they would only send out 3 people to the secular world to cultivate. Bujie was one of the last 3 and could be said to be a character nurtured heavily by the Winshin Temple. However, he actually chose to become a devil cultivator and was protected by a devil cultivator. This was simply disgraceful. In the Winshin Temple, Master and my senior brothers once taught me that I have to experience the pain and suffering of the masses. I have to walk a path of 10,000 miles and comprehend life. I chose the devil path because it's also a type of comprehension. I followed the teachings of my master and my senior brothers, seeing the difference between Buddha and devil. Only then would I be able to see through all illusions and focus on the path of Buddha. What sort of character was Bujie? Everything he said was a lie. If one wanted to reason with him, how could they win? Let alone the fact that his shamelessness was something Qin Wentian had already experienced before. You have already fallen into the devil path and yet you still speak in such a righteous manner. You are simply a disgrace to the Buddhist path. The expert from the 9 Emperors' immortal state coldly spoke. I once considered whether this would go against the Tao of the Buddhist path. However, after many days of contemplation, I finally understood the logic of the Buddhist path. As the saying goes, if I don't enter hell, who would? I chose to enter the devil path. Only then would I be able to understand the devil path. If I can purify the devil island, it would be an unparalleled merit. This is the true great Tao of Buddha. I can only give up on my own reputation. Bujie's voice was solemn, his expression solemn. He was simply shameless to a certain extent. Even the ancestors of the Buddhist path would be moved by him. What a glib tongue. If someone like you can also enter the Buddhist path, it would truly be the greatest joke in the world. The expert from the 9 Emperors' immortal state impolitely spoke. I heard that you often enter closed-door seclusion and meditate on your praying mat. You are extremely hardworking, which is why you have your current achievements. Right now, the praying mat you are sitting on already has a strange smell. Bujie calmly spoke, as though he was speaking something completely unrelated. This caused the expert from the 9 Emperors' immortal state to start. What do you mean? Bujie pressed his palms together, his expression solemn. He calmly spoke, the strange smell on your praying mat naturally has nothing to do with me. That expert started, he didn't understand what Qin Wentian meant. However, at this moment, laughter rang out. It seemed that someone understood what Qin Wentian meant. That expert glanced around and coincidentally saw someone laughing. He then asked, what are you laughing at? What am I not laughing at? That person shut his mouth, not daring to say anything more. At this moment, a voice spread out, the praying mat you are sitting on is giving off a strange smell. Of course, it has nothing to do with you. Ha, I am going to die from laughter. Many experts were stunned and then they sweated profusely. Black lines appeared on their foreheads as they looked at Bujie. This monk, even when scolding people, he was so philosophical. The 9 Emperors' immortal state's celestial king's face alternated between green and white as he stared at Bujie. However, regarding Bujie becoming a demon cultivator, Winshin Temple didn't say anything about it. It really had nothing to do with him. As they spoke, the experts who were fighting in the air finally retreated, returning to their own camps. None of them were able to do anything to each other. There were a few who were injured but their auras were still as violent as ever as they stared at their opponents. I've never offended any of the major powers of the myriad Devil Islands. As the priestess of the Judiciary Devil Hall, you actually acted against me for Qin Wentian. If the Judiciary Devil Hall knew about this, they most probably wouldn't allow you to act so arrogantly. Seems like the words of the 9 Emperors' immortal state are right. Qin Wentian is definitely your lover. How ridiculous, the priestess of the Judiciary Devil Hall is actually having a secret affair with Wu Xiu of the Immortal Realms. Such a ridiculous thing can even happen. The Judiciary Devil Hall is truly interesting. Zi Daolong coldly spoke, mocking Bai Qing. Before this, Bai Qing brought people to hunt him down and he had no idea what was going on. After that, he met the people of the Nine Emperors' immortal state and learned that back then during the adjudication battle, the priestess of the Judiciary Devil Hall on the Devil Mountain was an old acquaintance of Qin Wentian. Hence, Zi Daolong finally understood why these devil cultivators wanted to act against him. When Qin Wentian heard Zi Daolong insulting Bai Qing, coldness flashed in his eyes. Bai Qing's black eyes didn't change much, she was still as cold as ever as she stared at Zi Daolong. Your father is a peak-stage immortal emperor, yet he actually sneak-attacked a junior who is so much younger than you. Everyone in the world knows about this. No matter how interesting the Judiciary Devil Hall is, they wouldn't be as shameless as your father. Bujie laughed. Zi Daolong's eyes gleamed with violet light as he stared at Bai Qing and Bujie. Qin Wentian is a traitor, disrespecting seniors. He has to die for sure. Although I don't know where he is right now, as long as he dares to show himself, I will definitely kill him. As for you guys, if you want to stand up for him, you can challenge me. You are a peak-stage immortal king and you want us to challenge you. Bujie stared at Zi Daolong. As expected, like father like son. Each of you is more shameless than the other. As long as I'm here, I will definitely kill you. Bai Qing coldly spoke, exuding a strong determination. It was like as long as she was here, she would spare no expense to kill Zi Daolong, no matter what methods she had to use. Zi Daolong's eyes narrowed as violet light circulated within them. He stared at the experts in the surroundings. Everyone, these devil cultivators have always been extremely ruthless, even more so compared to the greater demons of the desolate mountains. Our immortal realms and the myriad devil islands are irreconcilable enemies. Why don't we take this opportunity to kill them all? Chapter 1467. Many experts fell silent when they heard Zi Daolong's words. They were all immortal kings, how could it be so easy to fool them? Although the immortal realms were enemies with the myriad devil islands, this was a grudge between Zi Daolong and the Judiciary Devil Hall. They wouldn't be so foolish as to interfere. That's right. Everyone is from the various regions of the immortal realms and are all heroes of the immortal king realms. This time around, the people of the Judiciary Devil Hall from the myriad devil islands dared to act so arrogantly in our city of ancient emperors. Let's kill them all to prevent future troubles and prevent another desolate mountain range from invading our immortal realms in the future. The experts from the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom naturally stood on the same side as Zi Daolong. Starting to move the immortal realms now. The demons of the desolate mountain range are wreaking havoc in the gazing Emperor City, yet I don't see you all standing out to defend against them. Acting so righteously, is it all for the sake of your own schemes? How ridiculous. A mocking voice rang out. Zi Daolong and the others turned their gazes over, staring at the person who spoke. It was none other than Qin Wentian whom they met back then in the ancient Emperor Palace. Their eyes flashed with killing intent. Shut up. Zi Daolong coldly laughed. He didn't expect Qin Wentian to stand out and speak for the devil cultivators. He was simply courting death. As Wu Xiu of the immortal realms, he actually spoke for the devil cultivators of the myriad devil islands. How can we not destroy such a traitor? Go and kill him. Zi Daolong's voice was cold. A moment later, a powerful immortal king beside him walked out, rushing towards Qin Wentian. Before this, when Qin Wentian was together with the people from the immortal Qianbian Gate, Zi Daolong already wanted to kill him. Who would have thought that this fellow would actually appear here alone and even dared to speak out? He was simply courting death. The eyes of everyone flashed as they stared at Zi Daolong. As expected of the son of the peak stage Emperor Zidi. Qin Wentian merely spoke out of turn and Zi Daolong wanted to take Qin Wentian's life? How tyrannical. The cultivator who walked out was the personal disciple of Zidi. He was extremely powerful. The rule power around him roared and purple chi rose from the east. Overbearing power filled the air. He raised his fist and punched out. It was like a giant purple dragon that blasted towards Qin Wentian. It was incomparably ferocious and tyrannical. Qin Wentian unsheathed his sword and slashed out. Sword chi filled the air, directly killing the purple dragon. That cultivator continued to walk forward, arriving not too far away from Qin Wentian. Both of his palms slammed out at the same time, causing the air to roar in anger. Violent purple astral winds tore everything apart as the two purple palm prints destroyed everything, resembling dragon seals. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered as he dashed out like a bolt of lightning. His body was light and his speed was extremely fast. He consecutively slashed out twice with his sword as a dazzling sword will appeared in the air, shattering the palm imprints. After that, he stared at his opponent as he slashed out with his sword. In an instant, a formless force descended, causing his opponent to feel as though the world before him was changing, as though he was in a dream. Not good. His expression drastically changed. When he struggled free, he only saw a beam of sword light slashing down from the air, directly slashing into his body. His eyes were wide open, he didn't expect his opponent to be so decisive, directly killing him. "You, how ruthless!" A weak voice rang out. This was the last word spoken by that disciple of Zidi. After that, his body plummeted down from the air as he was killed. Zi Daolong's eyes gleamed with a terrifying violet light. His aura gushed forth, the person beside him also unleashed a tyrannical might as he lunged towards Qin Wentian. You actually dared to kill him. Their statuses were extraordinary, they were the inheritors of Zidi. Even if they wanted to kill Qin Wentian, according to their understanding, Qin Wentian wouldn't dare to kill them. Bzz. Qin Wentian couldn't be bothered with them. He directly slashed out with his sword. Sword chi traversed through space, aiming for the person who spoke, using a tyrannical and direct method to reply. You guys already gave the order to kill him, yet you still dare to say such words. Admirable, admirable. Bujie clasped his hands, his words causing the expressions of Zi Daolong and the others to turn even more unsightly. Although Bujie's words were logical, the guts of this person was truly too big. With a mid-stage immortal king cultivation base, he actually dared to fight against Zi Daolong and the others. One must know that there were quite a few peak-stage immortal kings on their side. Such a force was sufficient to easily destroy him. Boom! A peak-stage immortal king besides Zi Daolong acted, destroying the sword attack from Qin Wentian. After that, several experts stepped out, their auras were majestic and their might towered into the sky. Terrifying law domains were instantly unleashed, shooting towards Qin Wentian. Go! Bai Qing waved her hand. A moment later, several powerful devil experts stepped out. Devil might churned wildly as blood-red lightning bolts shot out, causing those experts who were moving towards Qin Wentian to have no choice but to turn around and face the devil kings of the Judiciary Devil Hall. Let's do it. Let's kill this devilish maiden here today. Zi Daolong spoke. After that, many experts from the allied powers nodded as they stepped out, moving towards Bai Qing's location. Let's fight. Bujie spoke. The immortal kings beside him also stepped out. For a period of time, the atmosphere in this space turned incomparably violent as all sorts of destructive auras gushed forth. The spectators all retreated backwards. Seems like a chaotic battle between immortal kings was about to erupt and the shockwaves from such a battle would surely be too great. It was better for them to avoid it. Ha, how lively this place is. A carefree voice rang out. After that, Jun Mengchen and several immortal kings walked over. They naturally had long sensed Qin Wentian's existence and came here to participate in the battle. What? The people of the immortal Qianbian Gate also want to interfere, rebelling against the immortal realms and helping the devil cultivators? Zi Daolong coldly spoke. Their alliance naturally had the advantage against these devil cultivators. But if Jun Mengchen and the others joined in as well, their advantage would be nibbled away bit by bit. If that was the case, even if they won the battle, they would have to pay a heavy price for it. How big, they must be trying to pin the blame on our heads. Jun Mengchen laughed loudly. Don't forget that when you guys were fighting against the demonic beasts of the desolate mountains in the Gazing Emperor city, you didn't have the intention to unite against them. Instead, you were mocking and humiliating us. But now, you guys suddenly changed the topic. You guys are representing the immortal realms? Zi Daolong, your father is already so old, a peak-stage immortal emperor chasing after my senior brother. I've already thought that you guys are shameless enough. As expected, you have inherited the good points of your father. This fellow is truly audacious, daring to insult Zidi so directly. Someone silently mused. Zidi was after all a peak-stage immortal emperor, an Empyrean who stood at the very peak of the immortal realms. Even if he wasn't here, those who dared to insult Zidi would still need to have courage. However, Jun Mengchen has always been like this, not fearing anything in the heavens or earth. Zidi has always wanted to destroy the immortal Qianbian Gate and kill Qin Wentian. How could he show any respect to Zidi? Who is going to kill him? Zi Daolong spoke. I'll go kill him. A powerful immortal king spoke, moving towards the direction of Jun Mengchen. Courting death. An extremely cold light flashed in Jun Mengchen's eyes. Tuoba Saint Sky, who was beside him, took a step forward. Jun Mengchen and the disciples from the Heavenly Talisman realm all released their law energy. This time, let's help senior brother Qin vent his anger. Jun Mengchen coldly spoke. Regardless of Zidi or the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, he had long since disliked them. No matter what, they were both immortal emperors, yet they had no poise at all. Back then, if he didn't vent his anger on Qin Wentian for Zi Daoyang's death, there wouldn't be any conflict between them at all. The immortal kings that rushed towards Qin Wentian were intercepted by the devil cultivators around by Qin. The battle was about to erupt, but there was still an immortal king who soared through the air, appearing before Qin Wentian. He was in charge of killing Qin Wentian. Sending a peak-stage immortal king to kill me, they truly think highly of me. Qin Wentian turned and fled with extreme speed. That peak-stage immortal king coldly snorted and chased after him. Earlier, you were so arrogant. You want to flee now? Stop dreaming. That peak-stage immortal king grabbed out with his palm, transforming it into a prison of heaven and earth, trapping Qin Wentian within it. A terrifying gravity bore down on Qin Wentian, causing Qin Wentian to be restricted. What a powerful law domain. As expected of a peak-stage immortal king. Qin Wentian silently mused. This gravity prison was formed by the fusion of several different law attributes, transforming into a domain that could imprison people at the same level as him, greatly affecting their combat prowess. How can you flee? That immortal king mocked. After that, an incomparably sharp dark yellow spear shot out from the gravity prison, containing an explosive might as it pierced through space, aiming for Qin Wentian. Boom! Resplendent golden runes appeared on Qin Wentian's body, but he was still forced back by the impact. He groaned in misery, as though he had suffered a heavy injury. Bang! That immortal king stepped out, directly entering the gravity prison. His gaze was filled with disdain as he stared at Qin Wentian. Although you are a mid-stage immortal king, you are nothing more than an ant before this seat. You actually dare to mock an immortal emperor? You truly don't know the immensity of death. As he spoke, another heaven-shaking spear appeared in his hand. Not only was this spear extremely sharp, it was also extremely heavy. He directly stabbed it towards Qin Wentian, wanting to penetrate Qin Wentian. He was extremely confident in his law domain. Under his law domain, even mid-stage immortal kings would be greatly restricted. His attacks could easily crush mid-stage immortal kings. Boom! Qin Wentian's body transformed into the indestructible Vajra body. When the spear pierced out, it blasted through the indestructible Vajra body. At the same time, Qin Wentian lifted his palms as numerous tiny pagodas appeared. In an instant, a heaven-shaking suppressive might erupted forth, causing the expression of that peak-stage immortal king to stiffen. After that, he saw Qin Wentian slashing out with his palms, slashing out a sword that could pierce through the heavens and earth. A torrential sword chi gushed forth as the sword intent slashed out. That immortal king wanted to move, but he discovered that it was extremely difficult. He used gravity to restrain Qin Wentian, but he didn't want to be suppressed by Qin Wentian. Puqi. A sword strike. That peak stage immortal king saw the coldness in Qin Wentian's eyes. That was a kind of disregard, as though Qin Wentian didn't have him in his eyes at all. Earlier, Qin Wentian's act of fleeing and his injuries were all an act to make it easier for him to kill him. As a peak stage immortal king, in the eyes of Qin Wentian, he was nothing more than prey. The sword slashed out, causing the peak stage immortal king to howl in rage. An instant later, his body was slashed apart as the prison was broken apart. The spectators from afar turned their gazes over, and when they saw Qin Wentian rushing out of the prison, their eyes all froze. This is only the beginning. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed like lightning, terrifying to the extreme. Chapter 1468. The violet light in Zi Daolong's eyes grew even more intense. He felt that there wouldn't be any problems if a peak stage immortal king acted to kill Qin Wentian. However, he didn't expect that Qin Wentian pretended to retreat because he wanted to hunt down that peak stage immortal king. Not long after the battle started, that peak stage immortal king died in Qin Wentian's hands. In fact, they didn't even manage to see clearly how Qin Wentian did it. A peak stage immortal king, even for a transcendent power, would definitely be considered a cornerstone. If one of them was killed, it would be a huge loss. This was especially so when his father, Zidi, didn't establish an immortal empire like the Tenlan Heaven Kingdom or the Evergreen Kingdom. He only accepted some disciples from the Violet Mountain to guide and nurture them. A peak stage immortal king died. Zi Daolong couldn't help but feel pain in his heart. At this moment, battles erupted everywhere. Those immortal kings who were rushing towards Jun Mengchen, Tuoba Saint Sky, and the other experts from the Heavenly Talisman realm unleashed their tyrannical attacks. In an instant, the experts from the Heavenly Talisman realm unleashed their own law domains with Tuoba Saint Sky as the center. In an instant, Tuoba Saint Sky assimilated the law energies of the experts from the Heavenly Talisman realm, fusing them into his own. This was a unique ability of his. Back then during the war between the Dongshengshan Gate and the immortal Qianbian Gate, Tuoba Saint Sky also relied on this ability to dominate the battlefield. Staring at the incoming immortal kings, Tuoba Saint Sky directly punched out towards the immortal king at the front. His assimilated law energies stacked together, and with this punch, the heavens and earth howled in rage as the wind and clouds changed color. The law energy in the surroundings churned violently as all the energy blasted into that punch, directly shattering the law domain of that immortal king, penetrating through everything and continuing on towards the body of that immortal king. That immortal king at the forefront felt the might of this punch as his countenance drastically changed. It felt like this entire world was about to be engulfed by this punch. He roared in rage and unleashed a powerful defense. However, when the punch landed, it destroyed everything with ease. With a thunderous boom, law energy swept through this space, causing the entire space to collapse. That immortal king was directly killed by a single punch. The immortal kings at the back halted. A peak stage immortal king spoke. This man has a unique astral soul that can assimilate law energy. His attacks are stacked together and he can even borrow the law energy of others. We mustn't clash head-on. All the experts halted their steps, not daring to be impulsive. They could faintly sense this ability of Tuoba Saint Sky. With this unique ability, as long as there were some experts beside him, he would be able to boost his strength. And for Tuoba Saint Sky, who was already at the peak stage of the Immortal King realm, once he gained the boost of strength, his strength wouldn't be as simple as just adding the number of experts. Just think about it. In a situation where his attacks were all boosted, who would be able to withstand his attacks? That immortal king who died earlier was a very good example. Zi Daolong waved his hand. Even more immortal kings were preparing to reinforce Tuoba Saint Sky. Who would have thought that these people would suddenly appear out of nowhere? This time around, he, Zi Daolong, initially wanted to deal with the devil maidens of the myriad devil islands. As for the other two battlefields, the immortal kings of the Judiciary Devil Hall were all proficient in the art of adjudication. In addition, when they joined forces, they were able to coordinate with each other. The devil cultivators of the myriad ancient devil hall led by Bujie were similarly terrifying. Although they were fighting individually, each of them could borrow the will of the ancient devils and even summon the devil cultivators from the myriad ancient devil hall. In an extremely short period of time when the battle erupted, the entire space was in chaos. The sky lost its color as the radiance of the stars enveloped the vast region. The battlefield was instantly pulled to a great extent, and the people in the distance all retreated to a faraway place. This caused many experts who were far away to rush over, knowing that a great battle had erupted here. There were so many immortal kings participating in this battle. Even in the current city of ancient emperors, it was extremely rare. After Qin Wentian killed that peak stage immortal king, he returned to the battlefield. His sharp eyes swept through the battlefield. One of his hands was wielding a sword and a saber, law energy flowed around him as Emperor's fate shone resplendently behind him. His entire person exuded the might of a king. The brothers of the 9 emperors' immortal state have once allied with us. This time around, we are able to fight side by side again and help me kill these people. I, Zi Daolong, will definitely remember this favor. Zi Daolong spoke to the immortal kings of the 9 emperors' immortal state who didn't participate in the battle. Although there weren't many experts from the 9 emperors' immortal state here, there were still 5 of them and one of them was a peak stage immortal king. If they joined in, they would definitely have a great influence on the overall situation, allowing their side to have more initiative. Our opponents are all supreme powers. It wouldn't be too good if we offend them. The peak stage immortal king from the 9 emperors' immortal state laughed, but he didn't directly reject. That's simple. Brothers, help me kill this brat. He doesn't seem to belong to any of the major powers. Zi Daolong pointed to Qin Wentian. Him. But this man's combat prowess is also very powerful. Earlier, he even killed a peak stage immortal king. That peak stage immortal king from the 9 emperors' immortal state spoke, his words causing Zi Daolong to silently curse at this fellow. Seems like if he didn't promise him some benefits, the immortal king of the 9 emperors' immortal state wouldn't act. Characters of this level were all wily old foxes. How about this? I owe Brother Zhu a favor. In the future, if there's a need, I, Zi Daolong, will definitely repay you. Zi Daolong spoke. The immortal king from the 9 emperors' immortal state laughed, Brother Zi, why is there a need to be so polite? Since Brother Zi has spoken, we will act for Brother Zi and kill this man. You can focus on dealing with the other opponents. Right. Zi Daolong nodded and moved towards Bai Qing's direction. The situation there was somewhat hard to control. He had to head over there to take control of the situation and kill that evil woman. At this moment, Qin Wentian was preparing to join the battle. However, he heard the conversation between Zi Daolong and the immortal king from the 9 emperors' immortal state. After that, the 5 immortal kings all turned their gazes onto him. Qin Wentian wielded his saber and sword with both hands, radiating powerful law energy. Coldly, he stared ahead. If you guys want to obstruct me, I will kill you without mercy. What an arrogant fellow. This seat has already been at the peak stage of the immortal king realm for thousands of years. Even if your combat prowess is powerful, how dare you act so arrogantly before this seat? In addition, I don't intend to waste time with you, I will directly kill you. That peak stage immortal king in the lead stared at Qin Wentian as he spoke. If you want to gang up on me, you can even speak in such a dignified manner. Why is there a need for this? If the 9 emperors' immortal state wants to get involved in this, you better think things through. Bujie's voice rang out, it was as though he was going to clash with the people from the 9 emperors' immortal state. Bujie, you have already fallen to the devil path. You better be worried that the Wenxin temple will clean up your sect instead. That peak stage immortal king coldly spoke. After that, the 5 immortal kings all unleashed their emperor domains at the same time. For a period of time, a blinding killing light filled the sky, capable of destroying everything in its path. Go to hell. The 5 immortal kings from the 9 emperors' immortal state shot out immortal light of laws at the same time. The fearsome light instantly enveloped everything within a radius of a few hundred miles. Qin Wentian was also enveloped by the domain of laws. Each strand of immortal light was like a golden spear, indestructible, piercing towards Qin Wentian. For ordinary mid-stage immortal kings, even if they were at the peak of this level, they wouldn't be able to block such an attack. Qin Wentian wielded his sword and saber, standing proudly in the air. Dazzling golden runes flowed around him, resembling ancient Buddhist characters. There was a wondrous will contained within them. When the immortal light entered his body, it had no way to break through his defense of laws. Is this his immortal body of laws? Such an immortal body of laws is truly terrifying. The spectating immortal kings couldn't help but to sigh in their hearts when they saw Qin Wentian's defense. However, the killing intent of the immortal kings from the 9 emperors' immortal state vanished. The immortal light radiating from them grew even more intense as they grabbed out with their palms. A moment later, all sorts of divine weapons appeared within the immortal light. Golden swords, long spears, ancient spears, all of them pierced through space, aiming for Qin Wentian. Boom! Qin Wentian moved, there was no hesitation at all as he dashed towards the destructive attack. He allowed the terrifying might of the attack to slam into his body, completely disregarding it. This caused the immortal kings from the 9 emperors' immortal state to frown. This physique was somewhat unexpected. Go! The sharp sword in Qin Wentian's hand slashed out, piercing through the air, aiming for that peak stage immortal king. The sword hummed as it radiated a destructive sword intent, capable of annihilating everything. That peak stage immortal king retreated, the sharp sword seemed to have locked onto him. The eyes of the peak stage immortal king of the 9 emperors' immortal state gleamed with immortal light. With a wave of his hands, a screen of light appeared before him, blocking all the incoming attacks. With a thunderous boom, the screen of light shattered apart. However, the might of the sword intent was too great. That peak stage immortal king coldly snorted and waved his hand to repel the sword. But at the same time when this sword was chasing after him, Qin Wentian had already rushed towards the other 4 immortal kings. With a stomp of his foot, a terrifying might that could suppress the heavens and earth bore down on them. This entire space seemed to be engulfed by a formless pagoda, suppressing everything. The 4 immortal kings instantly felt their bodies becoming less agile, as though they were being suppressed by an immense amount of power. The saber slashed out. It was a simple and unadorned saber strike, yet it was fast to the extreme, sharp to the extreme, infused with the sword saint's will. When this saber slashed out, the 4 immortal kings felt their minds trembling, as though their souls were being attacked. With a piercing sound, fresh blood splattered through the air. The 4 immortal kings were all struck by the saber light and in an instant, all of them fell to the ground. Impudent! That peak stage immortal king's eyes widened in anger when he saw this scene. The 4 immortal kings of the 9 emperors' immortal state were actually all slain by a single saber strike from Qin Wentian. I've said it before. For those who block me, I will kill them. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with coldness. He lifted his saber and slashed out once more. That peak stage immortal king only felt a bolt of lightning directly blasting into his mind, penetrating through his soul. He raised both his fists above his head and punched out at the same time. His royal immortal light transformed into an emperor armor that protected him, preventing the saber light from breaking through. But even so, his heart trembled violently as he felt an intense threat from Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian lifted his saber high up in the air. A terrifying will towered up into the clouds as his saber intent towered up into the sky. As this saber slashed down, it felt like even the void would be cleaved into 2. That peak stage immortal king only saw the saber light tearing through the sky before his body was split into 2. Another peak stage immortal king died under Qin Wentian's saber. This time around, the domineering saber sword immortal king killed 5 immortal kings consecutively. Chapter 1469. Is he going crazy? The spectators all felt their hearts trembling. 5 immortal kings from the 9 emperors' immortal state, including a peak-stage immortal king, were all killed. A late-phase mid-stage immortal king killed 5 immortal kings consecutively and did so with ease. There was simply no one on the same level who could contend against him. Where did this saber-sword immortal king come from? How can he be so powerful? Does he want to contend against those existences in the city of ancient emperors, seizing emperor's fate and becoming an unparalleled character? Someone sighed. But given how violent he is, he killed 5 immortal kings from the 9 emperors' immortal state. Would the experts from the 9 emperors' immortal state spare him? Don't forget that there's a demon-level character in the 9 emperors' immortal state. That person is extremely terrifying. If he knew about this, he would surely rush over to kill the saber-sword immortal king. Too ruthless, I'm afraid it would be hard for him to survive. He offended the 9 emperors' immortal state in one go. In addition to Zi Daolong in the Tenlon Heaven Kingdom, he has too many enemies. His cultivation base is still a little weak, it would be hard for him to survive. Someone spoke. They didn't doubt Qin Wentian's talent, but the city of ancient emperors was too dangerous now. This is the reason why you guys are unable to shine. A calm voice rang out. An immortal king among the crowd stood with his hands clasped behind his back. The emperor's fate behind him radiated boundless might as he spoke. Since the ancient times, which supreme character didn't conquer the world, defeating all enemies? For those ancient emperors, which one of them didn't step on the bones of countless people to attain their Tao? If you don't even dare to retaliate when others want to kill you, what qualifications do you have to stand out in this era? Maybe. Someone sighed. Maybe for those characters with such accomplishments, their courage is truly something we can't imagine. The Emperor realm is already so far away, ancient emperors, I don't dare to agree with your words. Even if he's an unparalleled character, he should know how to endure in front of the bigger picture. Even if the other party wants to kill him, he hasn't matured yet and has extraordinary talent. It's only right for him to endure and wait until his cultivation base is high enough to take revenge. If he directly kills like this, even if he has the talent of an ancient emperor, he would still fall on the path of pursuit. Someone spoke. Ha ha ha, how many geniuses have there been since ancient times? How many of them could become ancient emperors? Is it really because their talent is not enough? How many heroes have fallen on the path of cultivation? Just like what you said, you think you can reach that cultivation realm just by enduring silently? This is the funniest joke I've ever heard. That immortal king laughed uproariously. How many immortal kings and emperors died trying to take that step? Yet, an immortal king actually has such ridiculous thoughts. How sad. Discussing the Tao with you is a form of humiliation. You. The expression of that immortal king earlier turned cold. But when he saw that Qin Wendian still stood there with his hands clasped behind his back, exuding an air of arrogance. When he thought of what Qin Wendian said earlier, he didn't dare to say anything more. The people at the side all understood what was going on when they saw this scene. This was the difference in temperament between the two of them. That immortal king who said he could endure silently did so, not daring to act at all. After Qin Wendian killed the 5 immortal kings, the emperor's fate behind him grew even more terrifying. It was so bright that it was about to turn corporeal. He returned to the chaotic battlefield once more. His silhouette flashed as he sped towards the battlefield where Bai Qing was at. The attacks of immortal kings were too ferocious. Hence, even if it was a group battle, the distance between each immortal king was still extremely vast. Even if there was a distance of tens of thousands of meters, they could cross it with a single step. Qin Wendian's eyes instantly locked onto one of the immortal kings. His silhouette flashed as he sped towards that direction. Qin Wendian's movement technique was extremely fast, like a great rock. That immortal king was currently fighting against a devil cultivator when he suddenly felt a sense of danger from behind him. He turned his gaze over and blasted out with a palm strike. A moment later, a terrifying meteor shot out, transforming into a beam of light that shot towards Qin Wendian. If it smashed into a mountain range, it would definitely be able to destroy it. Qin Wentian lifted his hand and slashed out with his saber, cleaving the meteor into two. He didn't pause at all and instantly closed in. After that, he slashed out with his sword, transforming into a beam of light that sliced through the air. When that immortal king saw the vermilion bird sword art flying towards him, he blasted out with both his hands, causing the meteors to rain down on him. However, the sword intent of the vermilion bird sword art contained a holy sword intent that could lacerate everything. The vermilion bird sword art transformed into the form of a sword, penetrating through space, destroying all the meteors. After that, the vermilion bird sword art slashed out. For mid-stage immortal kings, there's basically no one who can be his opponent. They won't be able to withstand a single sword strike from him. Before this, when Qin Wentian killed 4 immortal kings with a single slash, everyone understood that unless a supreme demon-level character like the Sabersword Immortal King appeared, they wouldn't be able to contend against him at the same level. If not, they would be slaughtered mercilessly. After killing one, Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered, akin to a great rock shuttling through the air, appearing before a mid-stage immortal king and slashing out with his saber. If he continues on like this, these people would all be killed by him. Earlier, Zi Daolong invited the experts of the 9 Emperors' immortal state to kill him. Most probably, they didn't expect him to be so powerful. The hearts of everyone trembled. Although there were some people more terrifying than Qin Wentian, for example, Toba Saint Sky, who had the ability to assimilate law energy, none of them could give the crowd such a shock as Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian instantly became the focal point, attracting the gazes of all the experts. The radiance of some people, as long as they were on the battlefield, no one would be able to block it. In the blink of an eye, Qin Wentian killed yet another immortal king. The number of immortal kings dying in his hands increased unceasingly, and all of them were Zi Daolong's subordinates. To Violet Mountain, this was a nightmare. Under Zidi, there weren't as many immortal kings as those from the immortal empires and supreme sections. However, Qin Wentian wouldn't show any mercy. Just like what Bujia and Jun Mengchen have said, Zidi didn't care about his status. As a peak-stage immortal emperor, he joined forces with Eastern Sage to kill him. Regardless of Eastern Sage or Zidi, both of them had already reached a point where they wouldn't rest until one of them was dead. Back then, these 2 immortal emperors might still not act against him directly because of their status. But now, if they met again, they wouldn't show any mercy and would kill him directly. Since they were already like fire and water, how would Qin Wentian show any mercy? How could he show mercy to Zidi's subordinates? You guys block here, I will go kill him. Zi Daolong spoke, his voice cold to the extreme. With a flash of his silhouette, he gave up on his opponent and rushed towards Qin Wentian. Today, he planned to hunt the devilish female and initially thought that this battle would be very easy. Who would have thought that the situation would spiral out of his control and there were already several immortal kings who were killed. This caused the look in Zi Daolong's eyes to be extremely terrifying. His killing intent towered up into the sky as he stared in the direction of Qin Wentian. Boom! A thunderous boom rang out. Zi Daolong's body was like a dragon as he roared, resembling a human-shaped gigantic beast. Violet light erupted forth from him, enveloping this entire region. The violet light transformed into a violet dragon, its eyes terrifying as it stared at Qin Wentian. As the son of Zidi, Zi Daolong naturally received the most guidance, inheriting Zidi's legacy. How could he be ordinary? Although his cultivation base was only at the initial phase of the peak stage, his aura was extremely tyrannical. Ordinary late-phase peak-stage immortal kings would find it hard to defend against him. He was confident and arrogant, but he had the qualifications to do so. Boom! From afar, Zi Daolong blasted out a draconic imprint towards Qin Wentian, containing boundless might. Violet Qi rose from the east, incomparably ferocious, capable of suppressing everything. Qin Wentian stood very far away, but he could already feel that majestic might. When the attack landed, the violet light engulfed everything. Within the draconic imprint, there seemed to be true dragons awakening, baring their fangs and claws, wanting to tear Qin Wentian apart. Qin Wentian suddenly had a hallucination. He was enveloped by the roars of dragons and was about to be torn apart by the demonic dragons. Qin Wentian's expression was as calm as ever. His eyes gleamed with coldness, but he still slashed out with his sword. Within the sword light, there seemed to be tiny swords swimming about, containing a holy will that radiated a towering sword might, wanting to tear the demonic dragons apart. Since you are courting death, I'll grant you your wish. Zi Daolong stepped out, his violet eyes gleaming with a boundless violet light, terrifying to the extreme. Qin Wentian stared at Zi Daolong, his eyes cold and heavy. Zi Daolong's aura caused him to feel a trace of threat. In addition, he had no way to know how strong Zi Daolong was. As the son of Zidi, Zi Daolong would definitely have many trump cards. Zi Daolong was definitely the strongest opponent Qin Wentian had ever faced head-on. Thinking back to those years ago, it was also in the city of ancient emperors. At that time, he fought against Zi Daoyang, seizing the top ranker of the Immortal Ascension rankings. Time flowed by. Right now, the person standing before him was Zi Daoyang's elder brother, Zi Daolong. His strength was countless times stronger compared to Zi Daoyang. At this moment, Qin Wentian saw terrifying violet vortexes in Zi Daolong's eyes, causing Qin Wentian to feel wary. Zi Daolong seemed to be proficient in eye techniques and was extremely powerful. Boom! All of a sudden, Qin Wentian only felt his mind trembling. The violet vortexes in his eyes grew frenzied, and in an instant, Qin Wentian entered a violet world. Numerous violet dragons gushed towards him, exuding terrifying might. Illusory attacks. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed. His eyes gleamed with golden light as the power of truth gushed forth, allowing him to see through all illusions, breaking free from the purple-colored world. But even so, he could still see the attacks coming his way. Indeed, it was an eye technique, but it contained an attack power that was extremely terrifying. It was hard to defend against. However, he who cultivated the force of truth wasn't afraid of any illusory techniques. Slash! Boundless sword intent radiated from Qin Wentian, tearing apart all the attacks. His eye technique was mainly an illusory technique, and the attack power wasn't that strong. It was directly destroyed by the sword intent, causing a strange look to appear on Zi Daolong's face. No wonder you can kill so many immortal kings. As expected, you do have some strength. If it wasn't for you killing so many immortal kings, I might have spared your life and recruited you as my subordinate. How arrogant! Everyone silently mused when they heard this. Qin Wentian coldly laughed. Zi Daolong, you truly know how to boast shamelessly. Whether or not you can leave this place alive is still a problem.